Welcome back to Truth Hurts, where we expose corrupt politicians and lying corporate media. I'm Jake Duesenberg, your host today. Very important episode. I hope you enjoy this episode. It's going to be really interesting to talk about what we're going to talk about, and I couldn't do it alone. Joining me, as always, MAGA Jesse. How you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing great. Yeah, no, we got a lot of good stuff to get into. I mean, this is the fight going on right now between McCarthy and Matt Gaetz. I went into it a little bit last week, but we need to break it all down because this is happening here today.
Yeah, and in fact, it's going to happen any minute now, maybe 5-10 minutes or so like that. So that's why we got down here on the bottom of your screen. We'll go live to C-SPAN while they bring up this motion to vacate the speakership. Sorry, that motion's happened, right? It's just to vote on the speakership. And basically 5 Republicans defect. What am I, CNN here?
Yeah, right.
5 Republicans vote against that garbage, then he's gone, right? That's essentially how it works. So we'll watch this. Defect. I can't believe I just said that. I was like,
right.
Thanks for the talking points, Jake Tapper. Reading your comments, Bridget Williams, back from Ireland and Kansas. How you doing?
Back again. Great. We have Tucker and Joe Mars with us today.
Good to see you guys. If you want to... We'll try to read as many comments as possible. Interrupt us at any time. All you got to do is click that Rumble rant.
$40.
What's $40?
Rumble rants now. In order for a comment to be read, it has to be $40.
It does not need to be $40. Let's not raise it. We're not that big yet, okay?
Just kidding.
Right. Although I do appreciate all the
aim
viewers.
high.
Yeah, I know, but then no one does it, right?
That is true.
So hit that Rumble rant. We will interrupt what we're saying to read your comment anytime. Rumble rant tells us that we're doing a good job. We really appreciate that. Running the dials as usual, Mr. Deep State himself, Dawson.
Hello, it's me. I have not left this control room for weeks. Help me.
Okay. All right. It sounds like we've got slave labor here in the tech room. I didn't know that. Did you not let him leave, Jesse? What's going on?
Yep, I locked him in.
Oh my God.
Lock him up.
All right. All kidding aside, today's topic, very serious. Obviously, well, I'm just going to tell you that right now, I'm going to lose it a little bit today. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to lose it because this topic is actually what got me back in politics about 12, 13 years ago. 2010-ish, the Tea Party era. This is what got me back in politics. Our U.S. debt, okay? So you got 2 characters here. You got Matt Gaetz, and that's what the whole media is saying. This guy's defecting. This guy's against decency and law and order, and this guy's awful. And then on the other side, you got this heroic Kevin McCarthy speaker, right? As if this guy is just doing the Lord's work, right? Before we get into the discussion on why this is such a big problem, if an institution is broken to a point where it is literally bankrupt, right? It's bankrupt, but we just don't know it, okay? You can't make these little incremental or minute changes, right? Especially when it's dealing with politics, because the opposite side will just change that right back. You've got to do fundamental differences. You've got to lift the table and push off everything on top of that table. You got to fight tooth and nail. I don't know Matt Gaetz, okay? I can't. He's a politician. I'm not going to be here standing up for a politician. All I'm going to do is look at the merits of what the guy's saying and the actions that go with it, and I'm going to say he's right. He's very right about what he's doing, okay? So we don't need to get in a conversation, oh, Matt Gaetz did this, Matt Gaetz did that. Is Matt Gaetz just trying to be governor of Florida? Is he just trying to be a U.S. senator? I don't give a crap. So what? His ambitions are high. Maybe they're not. But the merits of what he's doing, that's what counts. And we're going to go into some media interviews he's had, and he's done very good. He's sharp and on point. I love it. But let's talk about this issue. We're going to keep this live video going here to make sure that you guys see it. By the way, show note, we're not on YouTube right now. YouTube took us down when I was gone. By the way, I was gone for 2 weeks elk hunting in Montana. So that's why you had Jesse Talks Truth. And apparently Jesse likes misinformation, according to YouTube. So they wiped us off the internet again.
That's what they say. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was that I said. It probably had to do with the COVID vax, with the new Biden COVID vax. I probably said something like, it doesn't work, it's not going to work. So, probably better off that we're not on YouTube for this one either.
I see in the comment section there's like a buzzing noise. Any idea what that is, Dawson?
I'll take a look into it, but there's not going to be much I can do while we're live.
Okay. All right. Hopefully we can fix that. Yeah, maybe. You know what? That might be it.
Yeah,
actually.
I'm
might-
gonna
That
mess
mic is
around
right
with
next
this.
to his computer fan. I bet you anything that's what it is. Because I can hear that fan from over here. Guys, tell us if that just fixed it. Mega Jesse fixing our technology issues.
Yeah, first time ever.
Okay, yeah, all right. So let's pull up usdebtclock.org. Okay,
I can't keep the live feed while we do that.
why not?
Because it's 2 web pages.
Yeah, well, I'm watching on my phone anyway. I'll
Okay,
let us
can
know
you
in case
get
something
rid of
happens.
the live feed? Okay, so he's watching on his phone. Let's get rid of live feed. I want to pull up US Debt Clock. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so this, I'm sure you guys seen it. They actually just did a facelift. This is wonderful. Is there any way we can minimize that a little bit, or is that just my screen? Can they see the whole thing? Because I'm missing. There you go. Perfect. So you see in that top left is the U.S. national debt, 33 point. It's still a little. We got to move to the left somehow, Dawson.
They're not giving me much to work with here.
It's like, yeah, there you go. $33.2 trillion. That's our U.S. national debt, broken down to citizen debt per taxpayer. You owe $250,000, right? Wonderful. We'll take those checks tomorrow, right? If you scroll down to that on the left side, and then you look at the largest budget items. Okay, so this is essentially, Dawson, if you could just kind of highlight that area. This is what this whole debate's all about. We are taking in $4.3 trillion, and we are spending $6.1 trillion. In other words, your household makes $43,000 a year, and you're spending $61,000 a year. Okay, it doesn't work. You're adding $1.8 trillion to your credit card. So here are the major spending items for the federal government. You got $1.6 trillion in Medicare and Medicaid. You got $1.3 trillion in Social Security. And our whole defense and wars and all that stuff is $800 billion. So currently our interest on the debt, and this is in a caution little area, if you can see that, is $712 billion and growing. Okay? And I say growing because of 2 reasons. First of all, if you can't balance your budget, so right, you're putting $1.8 trillion on a credit card, well, that credit card is your debt. And so the interest payments on that credit card keep going up. On top of that, you have another problem. Interest rates are skyrocketing. I think within a year, it went up from like basically 0 to 5%. So all that debt that comes mature, and if we get time, I'll show you like a study that shows this, then it's going to hit higher interest rates, and all that new debt that comes out there is going to have higher interest rates, and therefore it becomes more costly to borrow money. Okay, so if I could just like part ways from the numbers for a second, if you get the point I'm trying to make, we are absolutely doomed on this course, okay? And so when you look at this whole debate, I don't give a shit. Once again, I don't give a shit about Matt Gaetz. Like maybe he's a bad guy. I don't know. I'm just taking the merits of his argument. Something's got to be done. The Democrats do not care about this issue at all. And I would argue most Republicans don't care about this issue. It's a uniparty. Kevin McCarthy's part of the uniparty. What's going on here on the House floor here? We got
Switch over.
Some kind of roll call vote.
Jesse, will you unplug and replug the top part of your mic?
Tucker says it just went away, Dawson.
Yep, I think it was Jesse's microphone.
Oh.
Jesse's thing. Well, let's get some audio from C-SPAN here.
Sorry for the.
Got to turn it up big time there, Dawson. On agreeing to the resolution. This is not something that we need. We'll just keep tabs on this thing. I just want to make sure because.
The energy and water bill.
Okay, so at 1 o'clock, they said at 1 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern, they were going to have the vote on the speakership. So that obviously hasn't happened. I can't imagine. Well, maybe Kevin McCarthy wouldn't take the speaker rostrum at that time. I don't know. Kind of somewhat unprecedented. So, yeah. So, anyhow, we'll go to that as soon as that happens. But let's continue on. We have a real problem here, okay? And it seems like no appetite whatsoever in Congress to fix this thing except for Matt Gaetz and whatever congressman he's with, right? And a lot of those people don't know the names, okay? We can speculate. I think we kind of know some of them. Jesse, I think Rosendale, and it looks like Eli Crane maybe. But there doesn't need to be that many to actually force the speaker's hand, okay? And there was a deal that was made back in January when the speaker vote was going down, and one of those things was that they were actually going to have appropriation bills, single subject appropriation bills. Did not happen. So McCarthy has not followed through on his promise on the deal he made. But just in good nature of, are we ever going to fix this problem? You can't continue running these continuing resolutions that add more deficit spending, okay? And so that's what Matt Gaetz is standing for. So let's go here, Dawson, because I don't think we're going to get the vote here for probably at least another 10 minutes, it looks like. Is this, by the way, is that the final on amendments? What is that, agreeing to the resolution? Okay, so it looks like, yeah, we're at least 10 minutes away. Why don't you pull up, let's go to line F9, Gaetz on the secret deal. So during this time, the continuing resolution that passed Saturday night, September 30th, the new budget year starts October 1st. In that time, Speaker McCarthy basically got a continuing resolution that funds the government at basically same levels for 45 days. However, it was stripped of funding for Ukraine. Okay? So here's Matt Gaetz on a deal that was made with Democrats between him and Kevin McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to raise a question.
Turn it up, Dawson.
What was the secret side deal on Ukraine? House Democrats and President Biden have said that as Speaker McCarthy was asking Republicans to vote for a continuing resolution so as to avoid having to take the Senate's plus up in Ukraine money, that the Speaker of the House was actually cutting a side deal to bring Ukraine legislation to this floor with President Biden and House Democrats. So let me get this straight. To extend Joe Biden's spending and Joe Biden's policy priorities, the Speaker of the House gave away to Joe Biden the money for Ukraine that Joe Biden wanted. It is going to be difficult for my Republican friends to keep calling President Biden feeble while he continues to take Speaker McCarthy's lunch money in every negotiation.
Okay, go ahead. Let's end it there. So, on top of the insult of just passing a continuing resolution, not solving the problem at all, and before people think, well, it's Matt Gaetz' fault that they almost had a government shutdown on Saturday. Last I checked, Jesse, they took 6 weeks off a vacation. They've had since January to get these appropriation bills passed, and they wait. They're the ones that wait till the final hour. And Matt Gaetz, what is he doing? He's holding them accountable to the deal they made. And what do? They go behind his back and they go to the Democrats to make a secret deal on Ukraine. We still don't know what that deal is, by the way.
I think they passed, it was maybe the Homeland Security bill back in like June. So, they had begun the negotiations on these single subject bills, but Kevin McCarthy and a lot of these other rhinos, the Democrats, they never wanted to take those up. The Senate was never going to take them up. Especially they were never going to take it up if they had this continuing resolution, the omnibus bill, which, like you said, that's what Matt Gaetz is fighting. That's what, you're right that they took a 6-week vacation. They decided they didn't want to work. They didn't want to try to pass these single subject bills, and that's why they were able to try to force it. So you're right. It's not the fault of Matt Gaetz for a potential government shutdown. It was the fault of Kevin McCarthy.
Right, and I generally want these guys to take as much vacation as possible because we'll save a ton of money that way. But in this case, they actually got to pass the budget. So take your damn vacation after the budget. Just think about this. Their job is to pass the budget. They don't pass the budget. They haven't passed the budget. I don't even remember when they passed the budget last. When did they do that? They just passed continuing resolutions. They have the showdown and all that stuff. I'm just being honest with you. This is like the first time I've had some bit of hope in Congress in like a decade. Something's actually being done. Someone's holding their feet to the fire.
I think Matt Gaetz said that it was in the 90s with
Gingrich.
With Gingrich, right? But what's funny about it is that Gingrich is like totally siding with Kevin McCarthy during this entire thing. Newt Gingrich is out there saying that Matt Gaetz is making a fool of himself, that Matt Gaetz is doing the wrong thing, that Matt Gaetz doesn't understand the process, and it just goes to show that Newt Gingrich was go along to get along as well.
Yeah, I mean, Gingrich was dealing with a much different circumstance. They actually balanced the budget in fiscal year 2000, which would have been mostly like planned in 99, right? With Clinton in office. And Clinton's a moderate compared to modern day Democrats. or at least the Clinton of the 90s. Let's go to G11 here. This is Matt Gaetz on CNN. So if you're going to stand up, once again, I don't know Matt Gaetz, okay, but I'm going to tell you what he's saying, the merits of his argument, great, on point. Even Jake Tapper has to somewhat agree that he's got a point on it, but just watch how CNN could be interchanged with Fox or MSNBC in this regard, but watch how how they approach him, and then basically their argument using Speaker McCarthy's argument. This is not, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
this is
looking
not
for the
G11.
CNN
G11
one,
CNN.
Dawson.
The one that starts at 5:37. There you go, perfect.
Their argument is your point about debt and deficit spending, which is not an inaccurate point, was actually harmed by the stunt, by the temper tantrum of the government shutdown.
Well, that argument presupposes that the Senate was going to take up or conference that bill that McCarthy wanted. You already had Schumer speaking on the floor saying that they weren't even going to take that
No, but
up.
there would have been a conference committee and there would have
That's
had
not
to have
true.
been a
First of all,
negotiation.
that's never so what you're saying is that something would have occurred that has never occurred to negotiate a continuing resolution. I have never seen a conference committee in my 7 years in Congress, and I don't think one has occurred since the mid-90s where a continuing resolution has ever been conferenced. So you're asking your viewers to believe something that has never once happened. What has happened when the House has passed a continuing resolution is the Senate merely negotiates the feature of that continuing resolution by sending back what they want to send back, which is what they did. So we were always ending up here. Here's where I want to break the fever. Since the mid-90s, this country has been governed by either continuing resolution or omnibus spending.
And you have voted for continuing resolution in the past.
Well, I'm 5 years sober voting for continuing resolutions, and I should note that during those years, President Trump was growing the economy. But January marked a difference.
Deficit.
Yeah, and you know what?
Growing the deficits as well.
I regret
growing the deficits as well.
But we were growing the economy, and look.
You're talking about the national debt. You were growing. What did he add? $7 trillion, $8 trillion to the national debt. Donald
and
Trump?
by the way, I
fair
voted
point.
against 10 continuing resolutions under Donald Trump. I did not stand with Donald Trump on all of his spending priorities. I voted against way more than I voted for.
My point is, I don't know what this shutdown did to help the cause.
What shutdown?
The shutdown that almost happened.
Okay, so there wasn't a shutdown. So the
threat of shutdown that you created.
We have to break the.
Okay, so let's stop it there. So once again, this is the narrative of the media. This is why you can't trust the damn media. Okay, so first of all, they call it a shutdown. There was no shutdown. It was avoided. But there was a shutdown apparently, and then he gets called on that. And so what does he have to do? Well, it's your shutdown. It's you almost caused the shutdown. It's like, once again, how is this Matt Gaetz' fault? He had an agreement back in January, right? You got a small minority there, McCarthy. So that's the deal. That's what you got to deal with in a small minority. I'm sorry, small majority. Small majority is a preferable thing, right, by the way. So you made a deal. You didn't honor that deal. You go behind the backs of the conservatives and you make a secret deal with the Democrats on Ukraine, which is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Like we got this fiscal problem and we're going to send money over to Ukraine, which we're to get to on how that's a problem too, and we're on the cusp of World War III. So you do all that stuff, and then you go on vacation for 6 weeks. You come back, you didn't do the appropriations, and it's Matt Gaetz' fault. Because you know what? Matt Gaetz doesn't want to go along with the broken system. This is the bullshit you get from the media. This is why we're different than the media. We're going to tell you something completely different than what these guys tell you. Because all they do is they give you, what is that, Tom Woods' podcast? I love it. The 3x5 card of allowable opinion. Here's my talking points. That's all we can talk about. The conversation's got to be about, well, we're going to have a 0.5% cut to the growth of government, or we're going to fully fund government, right? It's like the Democrats in Minnesota. We aren't fully funding education. What the hell does that mean? You can't even tell us what fully funding education means. Let's go to some comments,
we have some
Bridget.
comments here. Brad says, Brad Ganser, did anyone actually think McCarthy would keep his word?
I mean, there's a side of me. It's a fair point. They're politicians. Why would they keep their words? They never keep their words. There's a side of me that goes, maybe he will because he knows he's in trouble. He's in trouble. We're going to go live to this when this comes up. But, you know, honestly, I think I'm more shocked Matt Gaetz kept his word. I was like, holy shit, yeah, McCarthy's just going to call their bluff. And is Matt Gaetz going to do it? He's doing it. I guess he's going to do it. Right. Now we'll see if he's got 5 votes.
I know that was the thing. I wondered when they were making that whole agreement about the ability to do the motion to vacate the speaker. I wondered if anybody would ever actually take that opportunity and really do it. And because it takes a lot of guts to be able to stand up and do what Matt Gaetz is doing, because he understands that he's putting his political career on the line, because he's not only going to have the Republicans coming after him, you know, in the primary He's got the Democrats after him nonstop too, so he's willing to risk it all because he understands that, for the America First agenda, or just, even a conservative agenda that's going to, straighten out our financial house here in the country, it's going to take these single subject bills, and he's going to have to offend some politicians along the way.
Just want to point this out. This is how broken Congress is. We talk about they don't do their job. They don't pass the budget. Listen, this is the vote. This is what's annoying about watching Congress.
Yeah.
See, it says time remaining. It's on 0. They ran out of time, and there's yet, 82 people that haven't voted yet. They can't even vote on time. They can't even bother to come to the floor and vote on time. It's so ridiculous. I can't stand these guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, Matt Gaetz got a point. Let's go to some more comments. By the way, Rumble Rant gets you right to the top. And we're on a streak here. Rumble Rant's unbroken streak. Why end it today?
Yeah, exactly. Tucker says deep state couldn't have a balanced budget, so they started a couple wars. And he says even the deep state has admitted now that Ukraine is the biggest problem with the war and their own corruption.
And the interesting thing about the deep state is they have their own budget that we don't even get to see. Like how much drugs are the CIA selling that funds their operations?
Right. And also, I don't necessarily, I haven't dug into it. I don't know for sure, but I really doubt for one second that this continuing resolution that McCarthy signed onto doesn't give a single penny to Ukraine. Because, all of it's about shifting funds, like the Clinton Global Initiative, who just got a bunch of money from our tax dollars. They're going to be putting money into Ukraine. So what I think is, are we giving money to Ukraine directly in a deal like that? Probably not. But do we think it's going to end up right back in Ukraine? 100%.
I got to read those 2 comments by Billy22.
Yeah, Billy.
Go ahead, read that.
He says, there's another problem besides the interest on the debt. When the Fed...
No.
Well, I think it's all part
of
it's all
part. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm cut off on the top part.
He says, when the Fed lends money into existence to fund the government deficit, it increases the money supply, which causes inflation. This is in effect a regressive tax that hits middle and lower class citizens harder. Democrats are just too stupid to realize this.
Well, see, now, here's where I disagree. Yep. I don't think Democrats are too stupid to realize it. It just shows they don't care about the small person. But Billy22 couldn't make a better point. That's exactly it. It's like, do people understand? This is why inflation's happening. I just drove out to Montana. I was in the $4 range of gasoline. My God. And here, I've been buying groceries for 2 weeks to go elk hunting, whenever I go. It's like, it was over $200 for freaking groceries for one guy 2 weeks. I couldn't believe it. It's so expensive. That's the tax. Why is inflation happening? It's not like some mystery. During COVID, our politicians, these guys down here, they just said, we're going to solve our problems by printing more money and handing it out to people. That's how you get inflation. Okay? So it's a tax, right? This is the other thing is like, we're not going to default on our debt. That's what they said. We're not going to default on our debt. Bullshit, you're not defaulting on your debt, right? Because if your cost of living went up 7% in the last year and you didn't get a 7% raise, you essentially, or let's use this in case, Social Security payments, right? If you're on Social Security and you didn't get a 7% raise, which they didn't, well, then you just basically defaulted on debt. You just don't know it because you're still getting the dollar amounts that was owed to you, but it's not the same value in those dollars. All right, let's go to who knows how much time we have because the time limit's already out and they still have 63 people who need to vote because they can't do their damn job. I told you I'm going to get fired up on this damn episode.
Hey, Minnesota says Ukraine's president was installed by Obama. Why would anyone think there wouldn't be corruption?
Oh, I mean,
I know that's the thing. Nobody even remembers the 2014 coup in Ukraine. And right now, I was telling Jake before the show, Russia is more of a democracy than Ukraine right now because Ukraine isn't going to hold any elections. Russia's going to hold an election for their president in 2024. So what does that say? If elections are democracy, which country is more democratic? Right now, it seems like Russia, and it seems like the Ukraine is just our puppet.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say either one is, but let's go to this clip on F12. This is Matt Gaetz leaving the Capitol last night after. Well, actually, I guess we should go first of all. F10. Let's go F10. Gaetz puts up a motion, vacates the speakership. This is how it all went down on the House floor.
What purpose does the gentleman from Florida now seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A1 of Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House.
The gentleman will state the form of his resolution.
Declaring the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives to be vacant. Resolved that the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives is hereby declared to be vacant.
There you go. That's how it's done. And people didn't know he would do it. He did it. So he leaves the Capitol, and then he's inundated with press. Now, this is the other argument made by the enemies, right? They're saying, oh, he's just doing this to build the Matt Gaetz brand and to bring more attention to him. And quite frankly, it brought a lot of attention to him because he's just a lowly one Congress member with all of a sudden a bunch of cameras on it, and he didn't give someone a hand job in a movie theater like Loan Bobert. So why would people be so interested? By the way, I saw that story when I was gone. That's an interesting one. Jeez, what a idiot. So let's go to this clip, F12. This is Gaetz getting hit with reporters, and he's sharp, and he responds to it, doesn't take their bait. I love it. This is great.
C-SPAN, proudly true to our mission for...
There you go. C-SPAN. They are proudly true.
Yeah, I got you. Mr. Gaetz, how many Republicans do you have with you in this effort?
Well, I have enough Republicans where at this point next week, one of two things will happen. Kevin McCarthy won't be the Speaker of the House, or he'll be the Speaker of the House working at the pleasure of the Democrats. And I'm at peace with either result because the American people deserve to know who governs them.
Sorry,
I'm going to let her have a question.
Yeah, so you've made it clear that if this fails, you will try again. How soon would that happen?
Well, I'm not so pessimistic as to immediately accept that it'll fail. I think that's the likely outcome. But, you know, this won't be the only time. That's probably all I'll say on that.
Has the Speaker talked to you, reached out to you at all in any way, touch you on the floor just now?
Yeah, he hasn't talked to me since he appointed me to the National Defense Conference Committee, and we talked about some of our aligned defense priorities, but that was some weeks ago.
What do you think it means that there's a number of Republicans now that say they're keeping an open mind to the motion to vacate?
Well, I hold no malice toward any Republican who doesn't support the motion to vacate. I believe the basis for the motion to vacate is Kevin McCarthy's repeated breach of the agreement that he made in January. Just look at the breach that we've seen over the last few weeks. He blew past the pre-COVID spending top line he agreed to. He put a bill on the floor to fund the entire government without 72 hours to review it in violation of the agreement he made. He said that there would never be a bill on the floor of the House that spent more than $100 million without the opportunity for amendment. And yet, the last continuing resolution violated that agreement as well. He also agreed to a rule that he would never use the Democrats to roll a majority of the majority. But in the last vote on Ukraine, we had a majority of the majority vote no, and yet that was not something that the leadership honored. They used Democrat votes to send more money to Ukraine. And maybe the last straw for me was learning that Kevin McCarthy had created a secret side deal with President Biden on Ukraine while we were in the middle of this government funding battle. A secret side deal on Ukraine is not what the American people want to see out of a Republican speaker.
He denied that.
Cut it there. And it goes on like 15 minutes. I mean, he's sharp. He's sharp, isn't he, Jesse? Like,
yeah. I mean, he's really quick on his feet. He's good with the media. He's able to respond to all these questions. I mean, tactically, strategically, I haven't seen any flaws. And, you know, usually when someone's making these kinds of moves, you can kind of see some problems with it here and there. There's some holes in it. But overall, I am mad impressed with Matt Gaetz. I think that he's doing everything that he should. He's forcing McCarthy to live up to the word that he said that he would do as Speaker, which is the bare minimum. You know, that's the agreement that McCarthy had. That is the bare minimum that he has to accomplish. And if he can't even do that, he shouldn't be Speaker.
I'm impressed as well, and a little shocked. You know, when
he's one of the only politicians I've kind of seen that has gotten more conservative as he's gone on. It seems like he just maybe understands the layout more and more and more. He understands the game, and the longer he's been in D.C., I think the more pissed off he's gotten, the more he's seen how broken this system is, and he understands that this is the way to fight it.
Or maybe it's a ruse and he's just doing it for personal gain or whatever it is. But
it looks genuine to me.
When I was telling you guys this, well, Bridget wasn't there, but in the meeting this morning about how the movie Wall Street, Gordon Gekko talks about greed is good, right? No, greed's not good. Okay, but But he says greed's good. In a capitalist society, greed can be good. I'm not saying get past the moral sin, but it's like greed, someone's pursuit of making more money, and then they have to employ more people and make a product for the marketplace does benefit other people. So maybe his actual internal ambitions are there, and there's other reasons why he's doing what he's doing. But the merit of his thing is actually very beneficial for our country. And for all these people to go up,
it's so sad that he's the only one that's ever really done this. And you know, in my lifetime, I've never seen anybody take on this fight specifically, the single subject fight. I've never seen anybody do it, and I've thought, there's 435 of them. How is nobody thinking what I'm thinking? But now we got someone thinking it.
I like how you put that.
Yeah.
I'm always that way too, because I've been talking about this for like 12, 13 years, right? We're still. I mean, once again. Let's see, we're down to 9 votes left before they close it. I don't know how many people are voting today.
Yeah, down to 7 now, so it's ticking away.
Pull up this last document. Are you shocked we made it through this, Dawson? We made it through all these exhibits, and then we got to go to the Trump story, so then we got another gazillion links. This show is loaded today. Be shocked if we can get this done in 2 hours. Pull up this article. This is from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, by the way, not a fan of the Federal Reserve. I think they should not control the money supply. They should just go back to research, but they do good research because they have other resources. This is assessing the cost rolling over government debt. Now, I did this study.
Oh, okay, hold on. I think this is going on now.
Let's go back
They
to
just
this.
recognized someone from Florida, so I imagine it's Gaetz.
Get us some audio here.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to a question of the privileges of the House and offer the resolution I previously noticed.
The clerk will report the resolution.
House Resolution 757, resolved that the office of the Speaker of the House of Representatives is hereby declared to be vacant.
The resolution qualifies as a question of the privileges
People will probably
of the
vote
House.
to table
For what purpose does the gentleman from Oklahoma seek
table it.
recognition?
Motion to table
There you
at
go.
the desk.
Now,
The clerk will report the motion.
all
Mr.
Democrats
Cole
will
of Oklahoma
probably
moves to lay
be
the
against it.
resolution on the table.
The question is on the motion to lay the resolution on the table. Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Gentlelady from Pennsylvania.
Called division.
Yes, we would request the yeas and nays on
Yeas
this
and
vote.
nays, yep.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. Sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This is a 15-minute vote.
No, it's a damn 25-minute vote because you guys don't do things on time. I mean, it's always just the unprecedented, quest to get rid of the Speaker of the House, but they can't all just vote. Like 15 minutes. It's all electronic.
Yeah.
It's not carrier pigeon. Cast your vote. Move on. Freaking Congress. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, this is expected. Let's go back to live
that's
video.
interesting because there's already 5 Republicans there saying they want to vote against this to table it. Table it means that, vote on it another time, deal with it later, not deal with it right now. So now 6 Republicans looking to
7?
Democrats. 7 Democrats. So it looks 7 Republicans. So this number is climbing up. Maybe there's some people who just want to get it out of the way. Maybe, but also that gives me a sign to say that there's some conservatives in the caucus that are not happy with McCarthy.
Right. And here's the other funny thing is, look, no Democrat has voted yet, right? They're just playing a game. Like they're gonna have fun. They're gonna let the Republicans sort this thing out, right?
Yeah.
They're watching the tally go up on the Republicans, and then they're all voting lockstep.
Right. Now, that's what I'm hearing, too, from the congressional Democrats. They're all saying they're all pretty unified. They all kind of see things the same way. They don't want to help out McCarthy unless McCarthy's going to give them a lot. So in that situation, I think that they're going to end up siding with Matt Gaetz just for these couple of votes here. So if every Democrat holds the line on that one and then we get a couple of conservatives to fight this, then McCarthy's days are over.
So you get 10 nays already at this point, which means that if Democrats opine, one Democrat's voted now.
Interesting.
Oh, well, one Democrat voted yay, so they're making this interesting. Democrats are just having a fun day on this. So tabling is just a way to not have to take this thing up, okay? So this is I guess you would call it a test vote, essentially, right? You see all the Democrats now coming in. They want to let the Republicans sort things out, and then you're gonna get the last stragglers in, and that's where all the drama's done. What is it? Do you remind me what the number is here in the majority? Do you remember?
Well, let's see. 435 divided by 2.
It's like 216, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. No, it's more.
Wait.
218. Should have came in a little bit more prepared here. And that's assuming you got full strength. I don't think that is full strength. That's
218.
Doing math on the fly.
218.
It's been since January. We usually follow the Minnesota legislature. It's
right. But yeah,
134 in there.
Yeah, 218 is the majority for the House.
There you go. Yeah, we don't usually cover U.S. Congress because it's like these guys are a joke, until you get something like this, you actually got some substance going along with it. So yeah, one Democrat. Essentially, you can't have too many people defecting on the Republican side. You can't have 5 defectors. There's Eli Crane in the back sitting next to Andrew.
Yeah, I think I see MTG and Byron
Rosendale's back there. So yeah, you actually right there you can see in that back row probably the guys that have voted nay. 4 of the guys that voted nay. Is that Gaetz in front of him? Yeah, there's Gaetz in front. So you actually see a block of 5 guys that are probably nay votes right there. Okay. They're so hated right now, and this is healthy. This is damn healthy.
Biggs. I'm sure Andy Biggs is a no.
Yeah, is Biggs the one that I was forgetting the name on?
Maybe.
Yeah. We don't, like I said, we don't make it a thing to follow these guys too frequently. So we're gonna have to get reaccounted. It's not like you can tune in for color commentary and we forget some of the players on the ground, but once again, these guys are just usually a joke. They're a bunch of politicians. So anyhow, if more nays than yays here, then they have to take up the motion. And then they essentially, Speaker McCarthy needs a majority vote. And if 5 Republicans, as they put it, defect, he can't survive. And that's why this is interesting. Now, that Democrat, just to show you, and these guys they're children. This happens in all legislatures, by the way. The one yay vote by the Democrats missing now. They actually can toggle their vote, so they were just having fun, because, that's who they are. Don't take anything serious. So we got 10 minutes, I guess. At least they're voting somewhat fast here, Jesse.
This is quicker than the last one, that's for sure.
If they actually, really quick, if they actually succeed in getting rid of McCarthy, who is like the speaker?
That's the thing. So I mean, this is pretty unprecedented. So it would be vacated, and some of the people are talking about Tom Emmer as the next speaker, which that would be interesting because I think McCarthy is arguably more conservative than Tom Emmer. But I think that would actually be a beautiful thing for Tom Emmer to be the Speaker of the House. Us in Minnesota would have tremendous pressure, and we would be able to leverage that power against Tom Emmer in all kinds of ways. So it would almost be beneficial for us. But and also, if Tom Emmer is forced to the same agreement that McCarthy was in, then Tom Emmer ain't going to last long either. So, it could be one of those things where we get to expose Tom Emmer for the rhino that he is. But I'm not sure who else it might be. I mean, it could be Emmer. Some people say Steve Scalise, but I think Steve Scalise just got cancer. So
do they vote on it, though, right away? Like, would they vote?
I'm not sure.
Speaker?
Probably not. I think it would probably just be vacated for the day until I'm not sure what the precedent would be. I mean, I think it was over 100 years ago before something like this happened.
I would imagine they would hold a vote immediately. There is a speaker pro temp. So once again, this was one of the negative talking points before they did this back in January is, now the Democrats can win. No, they can't because the Republicans have a majority. Any kind of democratic society, which Russia and Ukraine are not, a majority is how you win, right? And so if you have more people, these motions don't work. With one little caveat to that, let's say you had a 1-vote majority and let's say the senator died all of a sudden because he or she was 90 years old, then that wouldn't be a majority. That would be stagnated or something like that, or you could end up in the minority party. But for the most part, if you have a majority and everyone's present, the numbers win in the end. That's how it works in a democratic society. Let's go to some comments here as we wait for these votes to be totally tallied. It's a close one.
And then Val says the Dem yay vote just disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're children. That's what they do. Oh, I voted yay, yeah. It just goes by. Maybe that's Phillips, Dean Phillips. Right. The independent guy.
Billy 22 says a man is only as good as his word.
Exactly. Billy 22 is on fire today. That's exactly right. So none of these guys are good. I don't know. Some of them might be. Who knows? They're politicians. I don't have any affinity towards them. All I'm saying is the merits of what Matt Gaetz is doing is good. It's pure. Are you sad that we might lose the Speaker of the House? Oh, poor Kevin McCarthy. Oh, my God. Oh, geez. Like, come on. These guys are the problem. What was it? Was it Hate Minnesota? Or was it Billy? No, Billy, I think, was making this point in the comment section. You know, they haven't done a tax increase, but they have done a tax increase. They've done it a very secret way. It's called inflation. They print money to buy up the government debt because they don't balance the budget, just like they just did. They punted the ball again 45 days down the road, continuing resolution, and you and I pay for it in our gas bills. You and I pay for it in our food bills. We pay for it through inflation, okay? So they have essentially screwed us. And, you know, I look, because I got 3 little kids at home. They really screwed our children. You look at that U.S. debt clock. I've got it on my screen here. U.S. debt clock. This is the per citizen cost. So I have got a 9, a 6, and a 3-year-old at home. Each one of those kids owes $99,000. To be more precise, $98,767. That's the debt that they owe currently. Unfunded liabilities, much worse. I think usdebtclock.org now has that on here. I want to say I saw this because they had some section of unfunded liabilities. Yep, there we go. This is the liability per citizen unfunded. I'm assuming they're calculating this out many, many decades, if not a century. But it says, according to it, we owe $578,339. That's our per individual, per citizen. That's not even taxpayer, per citizen liability of the debt. Now you see the vote. It's 204 to 203. Nays, now it's now the nays have it, right?
Yep, that's Jerry Nadler in the back there.
And you can see the Democrats control this, right? So,
and the Democrats really look unbothered by this entire thing.
The Democrats love this. They think it's a fun little game. Watch the majority's leader go down. I really wish we knew.
I think the way the Democrats are seeing it is that they like to see the Republican Party in disarray. They like to see they like to see tension. They like to see all this kind of stuff. So, but it's also to our benefit. So
okay, now you see that the vote is 212, so they can't. There's not enough votes by the Republicans to overcome that. So we are going to get a vote, assuming some of that 10 doesn't change by the Republicans. But right now, there's not enough votes left in the Republican conference to overcome that. And so we will have a vote. So essentially, you assume those 10 are going to vote against Speaker McCarthy, and Speaker McCarthy will be ousted here. Jesse, you were talking right before we went on the air. McCarthy was doing, was it a press conference, right? He got caught in the hallway. What did he say?
Yeah, that was when Tucker had actually sent me. So, yeah, thanks to Tucker on that one. But, yeah, no, it sounds like Kevin McCarthy is kind of conceding already the fact that he might not have this job anymore. He was saying that he's not going to work with the Democrats. They're going to have a vote in the House. And if the Republicans vote against him, then he's out. It sounds like McCarthy is already conceding to the fact that it sounds like he's toast, and it sounds like he knows it. And he should have never struck that deal. He should have never done the Biden deal. Should have never worked with Democrats. And this is the repercussions for his actions.
Brad says Billy is dead on. Every penny of deficit spending devalues your money, savings, and purchasing power. Backroom pressure is immense right now.
Oh yeah, you know, what kind of deals are they trying to make in the back? You know, and it's how many people will sell out on this stuff. That's why it's also important, just from a tactical standpoint, that Gaetz has got those 5 with them. I don't know what these votes are. We think it's Biggs, Rosendale, Montana, Eli Crane, very impressive so far. Matt Gaetz, obviously. Is Boebert part of that cabal?
Maybe not anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe not anymore. I think she's trying to lay low after that one.
She's in the back.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to think here. I wonder if I could. You know what I should do is I should go pull up the document that we.
Yeah,
had.
I got something written down somewhere
oh my
too.
God, do you have your crazy notes?
In my notes, I got something written down.
Jesse doesn't trust computers, so he just has a bunch of notes. I'm gonna put the speaker here. Speaker vote. We had Andy Biggs, Eli Crane. Bob Good, there's one. I think Bob Good was in the back. Matt Rosendale, as I mentioned. Yeah, Bob Good, Gaetz, Eli Crane. Those are some of the those were the guys that held out to the very end, because on the 15th ballot, there were still 6 that voted present.
Mm-hmm.
So 6.
And we just bumped up to 11. 11 Republicans voting no.
Well, and if we look here, and this is not science here because we obviously don't know. On the speakership on the 11th ballot, there was 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was Andy Biggs, Lauren Borbert, Eli Crane. At that point, Byron Donald's already defected. Gaetz, Good, Andy Harris. Yeah, I think maybe Andy Harris in the back. Matt Rosendale. So yeah, there you go. Those
Paulina Luna.
Luna had already flipped at that point.
And Wesley Hunt, I know that he had.
Something's not adding
speaking
up.
up, Dan Bishop as well.
Something's not adding up on my point. What did I read? The 12th ballot? No, 11th ballot. I'm sorry. 11th ballot. Let me do that over again. 11th ballot we had. Oh yeah, we had Dan Bishop at that point. Andy Biggs, Michael Cloud, Andrew Clyde. I forgot about all these characters. Byron Donalds was still good on that point. Bob Good. Paul Gosar was good at that point. Andy Harris, Paulina Luna, Mary Miller. Oh yeah, Mary Miller. Forgot about her. Ralph Norman, Andy Ogles, Scott Perry, and Matt Rosendale. Chip Roy, Keith Self. Chip Roy could still be there. Victoria Sparks was that shocking one that was voting present.
I think Chip Roy is probably with the majority of the Republicans right now on this one. I think Chip Roy has got McCarthy's back on some of this because he was in favor of the short-term continuing resolution. So Chip Roy is pretty flexible on that. I know Wesley Hunt has been speaking out against continuing resolutions, saying that we can't be doing them anymore. It was kind of surprising. I don't know that guy to be all that conservative, but it sounds like he's kind of putting a stake in the ground right now.
Read Ganser's comment.
He says Bobert's is in the back room applying pressure.
Yeah, right. That's probably what she's doing. She's the new whip. So who knows, And I feel redeemed, because I think a couple of episodes. A couple of episodes ago, I said a couple of episodes ago, I said that Marjorie Taylor Greene was better than Lauren Boebert. I feel redeemed. I feel correct, and
let's go back to the audio.
Just on as far as professionalism.
Yeah, definitely professionalism. Let's go to the audio here, Dawson. Once again, time running out. We still have 7 votes left. Can't be bothered. But 11 Republicans. That's the story here. 11 Republicans voted with the Democrats. When we're done with this vote, which obviously you guys want to see, then we're going to go talk a little bit about Trump because, we're losing our damn republic. There's 3 big pillars that I think are required for a stable republic. Number 1 pillar.
It looks like they closed the roll.
On this vote,
there you go.
The yeas are 208. The nays are 218. The motion is not adopted.
It's not tabled. Oh, well, yeah, okay. I guess that's correct. So now they have to take it up.
Pursuant to Clause 2A2 of Rule 9, the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Gaetz, and the gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole, will each control 30 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Florida.
It'll be interesting to see
Thank
who
you, Mr. Speaker.
joins.
I yield such time as you may consume to my colleague from Virginia, Mr. Good.
Gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Good, is recognized for such time as he may consume. And before the gentleman speaks, may I remind my colleagues that all parties need to be heard. Would you please clear the well and clear the aisles? And any extraneous conversations need to be taken from the floor.
I mean, this is just interesting stuff. Let's get to the speeches here.
Gentleman from Virginia is recognized.
Bob Good.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like so many others, I deeply regret that we are here in what was a totally avoidable situation. I must take you back to January, however, which for many of us was about not repeating the failures of the past and letting Republican voters across the country down once again, when in the past, for many years, when Republicans have had majorities in this chamber, we have passed our major spending bills predominantly with Democrat votes, something the other side of the House has never and would never do with majority control. Back in January, I expressed my concern that the previous 2 years, during my first term here in this House, we had not used every tool at our disposal to fight against the harmful, radical Democrat agenda that is destroying the country, bankrupting the country, and under which the American people are suffering. But most in here wouldn't know that I helped persuade my 5 colleagues who comprised the remaining resistance in the wee morning hours of January 7 to switch our votes to present to let Mr. McCarthy become Speaker. And I went to him on this very floor to tell him that he was finally going to become Speaker on the next vote. In that moment, it was clear to me that I or we could have asked for anything in exchange for switching our votes to present, but I and we asked for nothing. The very next week, I requested and had a meeting with Speaker McCarthy to tell him he had my full support and that I wanted him to be successful because the country needed him to be successful. In the ensuing months, I helped him narrowly pass the Parents' Bill of Rights and the Limit, Save, Grow bill. I think both of those by just 1 or 2 votes, helping persuade some of my most conservative colleagues to come along despite some of the concerns they had with those bills. And we remained united as a conference through the Limit, Save, Grow vote as we passed a bill that was cutting spending to pre-COVID levels for non-defense discretionary spending, or just over $100 billion, historic spending cuts, as the Speaker had committed to do in January, and it also included a host of other conservative fiscal reforms. Unfortunately, however, that unity and that commitment to significant year 1 cuts and spending reforms were discarded in the Failed Responsibility Act, as I call it, which passed overwhelmingly, once again, with a majority of Democrat votes, validating the concern many of us had in January. Many of us had begged the Speaker, pleaded with the Speaker repeatedly to utilize the debt ceiling to leverage spending cuts and reforms. But instead, he negotiated an unlimited increase to the debt ceiling through January of 25, as much as we can come together and gleefully spend through January of 25 with no significant wins for the American people in that FRA, or Failed Responsibility Act. But the Speaker then said that we would use appropriations. We would use appropriations to bring the fight and finally reduce our spending. He said the levels of the FRA were the ceiling and not the floor, and recommitted multiple times to go back to the $1.471 trillion that was the Limit, Save, Grow levels, radically, historically, saving $100 billion and lowering the deficit this year under Republican majority from $2.2 trillion to $2.1 trillion. That's what we were asking the Republican House to do, to go to $2.1 trillion. Meanwhile, the Speaker had committed to bring a balanced budget vote to this floor, something that still has not happened, despite the work that's been done in our Budget Committee to mark it up and have it ready to come to the floor. He also promised that we would bring all 12 appropriation bills well before the September 30 fiscal deadline. We did not.
Exactly.
We
that's the budget.
As
you didn't do your
Republicans,
job.
needed the Speaker to cast the vision, request the support of the entire conference, all of whom voted for the Limit, Save, Grow levels, except for 4 who wanted to go even further, to lead us in joining him, sticking with him, supporting him, and sending the most conservative spending bills with the most conservative cuts possible to the Senate as the best starting position for negotiations with the Senate. Many of us begged and pleaded with the Speaker to do that over the past 5 months. When the Speaker failed us to pass our spending bills, bringing only 1 of 12 to the floor before the August district work period, members began to negotiate amongst themselves without the Speaker to find compromise. I was among those who reluctantly agreed last month to split the difference between Failed Responsibilities 1.586 and the Limit, Save, Grow 1.471. I reluctantly agreed to do that, to go to 1.526 in order to pass our bills on to the Senate. We then essentially forced the Speaker, with the pressure of the calendar, the debt ceiling, or excuse me, the shutdown threat of the calendar, to bring those 4 bills to the floor last week, all of which I voted for,
despite some of them not cutting to the levels
We
we
got a
agreed
rumble
to,
rant, don't we?
and other concerns I had with the bill.
$10 from K-Wall for life.
Oh,
Cheers.
thanks, K-Wall. Appreciate it very
I
much.
reluctantly voted for the 30-day conditional CR.
Should I be
continued
offended that
resolution
Rumble rant
because
came
it
when
cut
we
an
weren't
additional
talking,
$10
though?
billion in the month of
yeah.
October, going back to the pre-COVID 1.471 levels for defense, non-defense discretionary, 30%, and it had border security. I voted for that. However, when that vote failed, the Speaker this past Friday in the Republican conference meeting made it abundantly clear that he was willing to do anything to avoid the temporary discomfort and the pressure of a pause in the 15% of the non-essential federal government operations, which would guarantee that we would lose to the Senate Democrats and the White House. If you're not willing to say no, then you're guaranteed to lose. And that was confirmed with the passage of the unconditional 45-day CR this past Saturday, once again with 209 Democrat votes. The Republican bill, 209-1 Democrats, 51-0 in the Senate side. The Speaker fought through 15 votes in January to become Speaker, but was only willing to fight through one failed CR before surrendering to the Democrats on Saturday. We need a Speaker who will fight for something, anything, besides just staying or becoming Speaker. If there was ever a time to fight, with $33 trillion in national debt, a $2 trillion deficit this year, 40-year high inflation, 20-year high interest rates, a downgraded credit rating, and for the first time in modern history, the polls showing, despite all the help of the media blaming Republicans in the House, the polls showed that the public was blaming Biden and the Democrats for an imminent shutdown.
Great point.
If not fight now, when would we fight?
And that's what people are saying. Oh, we got to be
united
united right now, because there's never a time for us to have fights, right?
Yeah.
We got to be united behind the Rhino McCarthy. By the way, when the establishment says we need to unite, it's never around the conservative cause. It's always compromise.
Is unsustainable. We need a Speaker. Ideally, somebody who doesn't want to be Speaker and hasn't pursued that at all costs for his entire adult life, who will meet the moment and do everything possible to fight for the country. A red line was crossed for me, I regret, on Saturday, and chose regret that I must vote against the motion to table as I did and to vote to vacate the chair. And I yield back.
There you go. So we know there's
Gentleman
two votes
from Florida reserves his time.
for sure
Gentleman
now.
from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I share one thing in common with my friend from Virginia. This is a very sad day, and certainly a day I never expected to have to live through. You know, I think broadly speaking, as I look across this floor, you can divide members into three groups. I'm very happy to be in the first group. The overwhelming majority of my party supports the Speaker that we elected. We're proud of the leadership he's shown. We're proud of the manner in which he's been willing to work with everybody in our conference and, I believe, in this chamber. There's a second group, small group. Honestly, they're willing to plunge.
I like
this
what K-Wall
body
for
into
Life says.
chaos.
We need to join
This
hands as the
country
Titanic sinks. I think not. That's a great point. Yeah, united as we fall.
Yep. And that's Tom Emmer in that bottom left corner there. In that,
No, Tom's
in
not
that
black. What are you talking about?
Pinstriped gray suit there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
You're talking about the black guy.
Yeah, not the black
I was
guy.
just teasing you.
Uh-huh.
Partisan, personal, and political calculations to make. And I certainly wouldn't presume to give them any advice about that. But I would say, think long and hard before you plunge us into chaos, because that's where we're headed if we vacate the speakership. You know, I personally think there's really three reasons why we've come to this point. That's because at each three of these critical minutes, the Speaker did the right thing. First, there was a Speaker vote. You know, he got 85% of the vote in our conference, 90% of the vote from Republicans on this floor. Yet we had a small group that decided, no, they would dictate what they want. He didn't let that happen. He fought. Now, he fought for himself, but he fought for 90% of us, too.
Will
will
the audience be mad at me if I just interject and we go away from the I'm sorry, I was about to use a very foul term there, but let's call it ass kissing, okay? I was going to go the opposite direction. But the ass kissing by the establishment saying how great Speaker McCarthy is, the talking points are lame, Then we're going to talk about how great the compromise was. We have to govern. We must govern. And these guys, they're trying to destroy this country. We have to govern, damn it. Mm-hmm. And I just love it. Like K-Wall points it. You couldn't make a better point. You know, there was this great sign made by Craig Schwartz, the sign guy. If you've been with us since the magazine days, we used to have Craig's signs in there. And he used to make these signs. It was like his late wife. She's like, Craig, you keep complaining. What are you going to do about it? So he decided to make a sign every week, and he put it on his property. And one of his best ones was like, Congress is like two drunks arguing the bar tab on the Titanic.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, that's right.
That is good.
That's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. These guys, I mean, at least Matt Gaetz is doing something. Dabby seems to think Matt Gaetz deserves to be president 2028. MAGA Jesse, when he is constitutionally eligible by reaching the age of 35 in 2036. It seems like she knows your age.
I'll make the mark just barely there, huh?
Yeah,
2036, okay.
I honestly remember when I turned 35, Jesse, literally in my head I was like, oh, well, now I'm eligible to be run president, which I subsequently have no interest in ever doing. Mm-hmm. I had those ambitions a little bit when I was like in college, and then I'm like, I'd rather not get shot in the back of the head, right? So no freaking way. Are they done speaking? Are they clapping for McCarthy?
I think they're all the establishments.
K-Wall says, does anybody on the right want the speaker job besides McCarthy?
I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of people. Oh, let's go back to Gaetz here.
And I, who don't support Kevin McCarthy, would plunge the House and the country into chaos. Chaos is Speaker McCarthy. Chaos is somebody who we cannot trust with their word. The one thing that the White House, House Democrats, and many of us on the conservative side of the Republican caucus would argue is that the thing we have in common, Kevin McCarthy said something to all of us at one point or another that he didn't really mean and never intended to live up to. I don't think voting against Kevin McCarthy is chaos. I think $33 trillion in debt is chaos. I think that facing a $2.2 trillion annual deficit is chaos. I think that not passing single subject spending bills is chaos. I think the fact that we have been governed in this country since the mid-90s by continuing resolution and omnibus is chaos. And the way to liberate ourselves from that is a series of reforms to this body that I would hope would outlast Speaker McCarthy's time here, would outlast my time here, and would outlast either of our majorities. Reforms that I have heard some of the most conservative members of this body fight for, and some of the reforms that we've been battling for that I've even heard those in the Democrat caucus say would be worthy and helpful to the House, like open amendments, like understanding what the budget is. We have been out of compliance with budget laws for most of my life, most of many of your lives. And by the way, if we did those things, if we had single subject bills, if we had an understanding on the top line, if we had open amendments, if we had trust and honesty and understanding, there would be times when my conservative colleagues and I would lose, might be a few times when we'd win. There'd be times that we would form partnerships that might otherwise not be really predictable in the American body politic, but the American people would see us legislating. These last few days, we've suspended the momentum that we had established the week earlier, where we were bringing bills to the floor, voting on them, staying late at night, working hard. That's what the American people expect. It's something Speaker McCarthy hasn't delivered, and that's why I've moved to vacate the chair. I reserve.
I'm guessing they're going to go to like a Jim Jordan or someone like.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend, Mr. Emmer from Minnesota.
Okay, well,
here we go. Here we go.
But I think they're going to get like some big names like Jim Jordan.
Yeah.
Kevin McCarthy has earned this.
Oh, whatever.
Under Speaker McCarthy's leadership, our House Republican majority has actually defied all odds and overperformed expectations again and again and again. It all started with the Speaker's race, when our Speaker, Kevin McCarthy, showed the American people how he would never give up. It carried over into the Speaker spearheading a rules package to create the most transparent, member-driven legislative process that I've ever seen since I've been here. And since then, Speaker McCarthy's Republican majority has been successful in bringing common sense back to our nation's capital by passing legislation to affirm a parent's right to be involved in their child's education, bolster American energy production,
The
fully
Patriot,
fund
Carla Nelson,
Yeah,
that is.
Patriot.
and
K-Loss is
benefits,
MRF for goodness
fight back
gracious.
against the regulatory state, and continue delivering on our promise to rein in Democrats' reckless spending by passing fiscally responsible appropriations bills. We've also achieved historic conservative wins, like passing the strongest border security legislation in history, passing the first Republican-only NDAA in history, and passing the first Republican-only state and foreign operations appropriations bill. So many Americans are better off because of Kevin McCarthy's leadership.
Yeah,
American
right.
families, job creators,
How do you even say that with an
entrepreneurs,
honest
service
face?
members, law enforcement officer, and the list goes on and on. These are just a few of our House Republican majority successes. But make no mistake, we need Kevin McCarthy to remain Speaker if we're going to stay focused on our mission of delivering common sense wins for the American people.
Common sense.
We've
There you
shown
go.
Americans what success looks like when we come together as a team. Now it's time for us to stand together stronger than ever so we can get back to the work our majority was elected to do. I'm proud to support the Speaker as we continue championing conservative priorities that will put our country on a better path. Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, you
McCarthy.
weren't given the majority to just sell out to the Democrats and extend the debt.
Yeah.
By the way,
And just because they're Republican bills doesn't mean they're good.
Yeah.
The opening line of my colleague's speech was that Speaker McCarthy always overperforms expectations, but after tweeting "Bring It," and after engaging in profane-laced tirades at House conference, he just lost a motion to table. So I wouldn't necessarily consider that overperforming expectations. And time and again, I've heard my colleagues say that, well, he deserves it because he went through a tough speaker contest. Let me let everyone know, he prevailed in that speaker contest because he made an agreement to fulfill certain commitments to make this an open and honest process, and he has failed to meet those commitments, and that's why we are here. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time.
point.
Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 3 minutes to my very good friend, Mr. Jordan of Ohio.
Yeah, oh,
Gentleman
see,
from
predictable.
Ohio,
Did I not call
recognized
that?
for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
They're going to bring Jim Jordan.
On January 3rd, we said
By the way, you got to be
118th
cautious about
Congress
these
is
guys. They
about
might
three
seem good.
things. Pass the bills that need passed, do the oversight work that needs to be done, and stop the inevitable omnibus that comes from the United States Senate right before the holidays. Kevin McCarthy has been rock solid on all three. We have passed the bills we told the American people we would pass. 87,000 IRS agents, that bill passed. Parents' Bill of Rights, that bill passed. Energy legislation passed. Border security, immigration enforcement legislation, the strongest bill ever to pass the Congress, passed earlier this year. We have done what we told them we were going to do. We can't help it the Senate won't take up those good common sense bills. They'll have to answer to the American people come Election Day. Oversight.
That's all it is. It's about elections.
We have done the oversight that we're supposed to do. Because of our oversight, we know that parents were
Tucker
targeted
says,
by
wait
the
on the
Department of
impeachment,
Justice.
too.
Because of our oversight, we know that 51 former intel officials misled the country weeks before the most important election we have. And because of our oversight, the Disinformation Governance Board at the Department of Homeland Security is
Which
gone.
they're gonna do nothing
Because
about.
of our oversight,
They'll
the
do
memo
nothing about
attacking
this
pro-life
stuff.
Catholics has been rescinded. Because of our oversight, unannounced visits to Americans' home by the Internal Revenue Service has stopped. That happened under Speaker McCarthy. And on the third one, on this side of it, we know there's a big old ugly bill coming at the end of the year, all kinds of spending, all kinds of garbage in it. We're still in that fight. Frankly, to Matt's point, we don't know how that one's going to shake out. But we do know this. We do know this. On Saturday, we didn't take the Senate's bill. They tried to send over and shove it down our throats on Saturday. We didn't take that bill. And it was a tough position he was in. There were 5 options on the table last week. Option 1 was to send a long-term CR over there.
Let's
that would leverage the 1%.
go ahead and put the volume down here. I just want to make this note here. So Jim Jordan, a lot of you guys like Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan's great. He's great in those hearings, but you gotta understand these guys are politicians. They're making politically calculated decision. Jim Jordan is not some kind of liberty champion, right? These guys, they just sound good. They do sound, but those hearings are mostly garbage. Nothing ever comes from them. You know, it just makes us madder. So we send in more donations to them to get them reelected. And then they get reelected, and now's not the time to have the fight. We got to reelect McCarthy so we can take out another $2 trillion in debt.
Yeah, and Jim Jordan, obviously, it's to his benefit for McCarthy to be in there. Because
Yes, go ahead,
McCarthy
let's go back to this
gives
here.
him power.
Our argument is that many of the bills he referenced as having passed are not law. We are on a fast track to an omnibus bill, and it is difficult to champion oversight when House Republicans haven't even sent a subpoena to Hunter Biden. So it's hard to make the argument
It's
that
true.
oversight is
Would
the
they have
reason
3
to continue
subpoenas
when
for
it sort of
Donald
looks
Trump
like
Jr. at
failure
this
theater.
point, the
How
Democrats?
much
Yeah, right.
time as you may consume to my colleague from Arizona, Mr. Bates?
There you go. We got Andy Biggs
Gentleman
talking.
from
That's
Arizona is
good.
recognized. How much time?
What he consumes.
So much as he may consume.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a serious time.
So
And
this- we imagine
my
there's at
mind
least 3
immediately
people now
goes
voting
to
that way, for sure.
The young deputy from Cochise County, who 2 nights ago, while trying to apprehend a runaway vehicle smuggling humans across the border, suffered major injuries, transported to Pima County, where he's in a Tucson hospital fighting for his life. I'm talking about a border that remains wide open, where drugs come through the Tucson sector, the most gotaways known and unknown of any sector along the border. Terrorists coming in, people conducting criminal conduct coming in, criminal gang members, human smugglers, sex traffickers. They're coming across our border to the tune of hundreds of thousands every month. Now, I appreciate my colleagues and their position, but I would suggest something. I don't think you can just skip to last weekend and say, oh my goodness, a CR came out last weekend on Saturday. I think we need to go back to January. I'll say this body came together on the Republican side and we passed a good border security piece of legislation, H.R. 2. That's good. And then last week we passed the DHS bill and the DOD bills, which had funding for our CBP, ICE, military leaders, military men and women. But why were we successful in doing that? What happened to motivate us to get there? Well, for one thing, we didn't bother to pass the 12 appropriations bills as required under the Budget Control and Impounds Law of 1974. We didn't do it. And you know how many times that's not been done? 25 years in a row. And you know how many CRs this body has passed in that same period of time? 130. You know what that gets you? A $2 trillion plus structural deficit like we had in fiscal year 23. You know what that leads you to? A $33 trillion national debt, which is where we sit today. Leads you to somewhere north of $700 billion in interest payments. Mm-hmm. And you know why that happened? Because this body is entrenched in a suboptimal path and refuses to leave it. Refuses to leave that path. You cannot change if you're unwilling to change. We had every opportunity to change. We were promised change. We were promised we were going to go ahead and we were going to get those 12 bills done. And if we got those 12 bills done, do you know why you do 12 bills? Because it allows you to reduce spending, get rid of wasteful, duplicative programs. It allows you to set an agenda to restore fiscal sanity. We chose to not do it again. We were promised we'd do it. That's why at the end, some people said, we'll vote present. We'll go ahead. We're going to put our trust in Mr. McCarthy to become the Speaker. That didn't happen. I suspected that would be the case. That was my struggle. That was my struggle last November and December. I iterated it to this body, our conference anyway. When we got to the debt ceiling, again, that seemed to spring upon everybody like a surprise.
Yeah. Yep,
And when that
exactly.
happened, I was in there for some of those negotiations on where that number would be. And I was astonished how that $1.5 trillion number was negotiated. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But I will tell you this. To his credit, the Speaker told us one thing that I believe to be true. He said that that's basically the ante in a poker game. He can sit down at the table. And I told my colleagues who supported that $1.5 trillion in 8 months, that you're willing to raise the debt ceiling, that's the opening marker. And indeed it was. And now projections are many $1 trillion above that. Yes, I think it's time to make a change. I'm not the only one. And that's it's somber. Thus it is somber. But what have we failed to accomplish? Why didn't we get this stuff done? When we're campaigning, we're talking about an extension of the debt ceiling to January of 2025. We're talking about additional Ukraine funding. Is that going to be, maybe that's good in your districts. Maybe it's not. But that money's not offset. We're not paying for it. We haven't designated how we're going to pay for that. The same with the disaster package. The IRS remains 80% increased. And I would tell you, I could go down the list, but I will just tell you why this happens. When you don't do your 12 budget bills, and you rely ultimately on a CR, and I'll get to the calendar in a second, what happens is you cannot leverage this administration to actually enforce the border laws that you need to have enforced. This is a lawless Biden regime. They will not enforce border laws. And we can pass them till we're blue in the face. But until you leverage the budget and the spending, you will not see enforcement by this administration. So now take a look at the calendar that we were just provided last week. We're supposed to finish by November 3rd our 12 bills. By November 17th, that's when we're supposed to see that the conference committees have come together, both sides, and we've resolved this. I don't believe that that's going to happen.
Neither do I.
It wasn't going to happen before. You were betting on the come again. At some point, I'd urge you to stop betting on the come and bet on the reality. That's why I can't support the Speaker any longer. I'll be voting for the motion to vacate.
So three confirmed
Gentleman
votes.
yields back his
They only
time.
need two
Gentleman
more,
from
by the way.
Florida reserves. Members are advised to direct your comments to the chair, please. Gentleman from Oklahoma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Another
Mr. Speaker,
celebrity.
I yield 2
Oh,
minutes
Massey.
to my very good friend from Arkansas, Mr. Westerman.
I saw Thomas Massey there. They're trying to get another sellout.
SELA. SELA.
Let's bring the volume down there. That was Andy Biggs, Arizona, speaking. Obviously, border security, very big deal. Before I forget, do us a big favor if you're watching this on Rumble right now. Hit like right there. It's very simple. All you gotta do is just hit like. That tells the Rumble algorithm, hey, show this video to more people. I think people need to get this commentary. If you're watching on Facebook, which we've had a big audience on Facebook, we're kicked off YouTube right now. Facebook's letting us do. Zuckerberg, apparently we're in his good graces right now. We have one video up there at 125,000 views. So
on Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on there, but anyhow, like us on Facebook as well. It tells the algorithm, more people should watch it. This is good content. So please like this. If you haven't subscribed to Rumble, Rumble's been, you can talk to Deep State Dawson about the tech part of it, but yeah, I mean, they're not YouTube on the tech side, but they have never gotten rid of our material. We got important things to say,
and they do continue to improve. Rumble is a work in progress, but it is a good website that is slowly improving and becoming, getting some of the capabilities that YouTube has.
Well, and you got to understand and appreciate content creators like us. You put out stuff. You don't want to be silenced. In the past years, you would never have a show like this because who's gonna allow us to do this, right? So We're too hot for TV. We're too hot for TV. We're too hot for YouTube. At least there's multiple competing platforms we can put our material on. And for whatever reason, Facebook's done very well lately. But Rumble's the one that's never silenced us. So please make sure you like us. Go ahead, Bridget.
Base Minnesota says, done, liked it, always do. K-Wall says, Rumble stock has taken a beating in the past 3 or 4 weeks. It's a bargain right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak to that.
Oh.
No idea. All I know is as a user, as a content provider on Rumble, they've never canceled us. They've never censored us. You know, we speak the truth or what we believe to be the truth. We'll correct ourselves if we're wrong. We will be wrong on things. That's just natural. That's what happens. You know? But and by the way, I see the comments here. Thank you, Jesse, very much for filling in when I was gone. Jesse speaks truth.
Yeah,
Of course,
Jesse's
you gotta
machine. Thanks for your work.
Yeah. Okay, let's go
I
back to
appreciate it.
Let's go back to live commentary.
It looks like people are happy to see you too
Hold on,
back.
let's get here to Matt Gaetz.
I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend from Kentucky and fellow
Massey.
member of the Rules Committee, Mr. Massey.
Yeah.
Oh, Thomas Massey.
Of course, that's what they're going to do.
Thomas Massey.
This is why we said
Sell
he's a
out.
sellout.
So crazy.
Do we know how long this is gonna last?
Just keep going. Can't hear it.
Idea is the only member who's serving here who took every chance to vote against Speaker Boehner and to vote against Speaker Ryan. I can tell you that this chamber has been run better, more conservatively, and more transparently under Mr. McCarthy than any other speaker that I have served under. As a member of the Rules Committee, one of three conservatives who were placed there out of trust, the Speaker gave us a blocking position by putting 3 of us on there to keep an eye on the Rules Committee, to make sure the process was fair and even. I can tell you it's been fair and even. None of us are voting against the Speaker today. Regular order is at odds with predetermined outcomes. Yet the Speaker is being accused of not holding to regular order and predetermined outcomes at the same time. It is not possible. You cannot be for both at the same time. I was a party to the January agreement, and I can tell you that there were promises in there, but there was never a promise for an outcome. There was never a promise that you could force Joe Biden to sign something. There was only the promise that we would try, and try we have. We have tried in the Rules Committee. We have tried on the floor. We've been trying this since the summer, and there's enough blame to go around for
what do you
why
think
we don't
he
have 12
took
bills.
as a sellout?
But part of it was a
He used to be one of the good ones.
He wants to be a U.S. senator.
I guess.
He'll do whatever he needs to be a senator. This is what he needs to do.
January, zero whatsoever. I was in the room for that. So the 12 bills were delayed over what? $100 billion. That's a lot of money. But it's nothing compared to the $2 trillion that I came here to object
you know what?
to.
I don't give a shit. Let's silence this a little bit. This is what the establishment's doing. They're like, this is our clever move. This is one of the good guys, right? The other side, they think he's one of the good guys, the heroes.
Yeah.
This is a diss on our intelligence. As if we don't know that Thomas Massey's just as capable of going down the establishment route as every other politician out there.
Right, and he's
so
saying
all this is doing is making us dislike and disown him. It's not convincing us. Oh, Thomas Massey, my instincts were wrong. You're right. You have nothing in this to gain. We got to go back here. Matt Gaetz might be talking again. Let's see if he responds. But that was their purpose of doing
from
that.
Florida.
I reserve.
Gentleman from Florida reserves his time.
I don't know who they're going to bring
Oklahoma,
up. It
Mr.
wasn't
Cole.
shocking to see
Thank
Massey.
you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend from California, Mr. McClintock.
Gentleman from
Okay,
California,
yeah.
Mr. McClintock.
Can't care about this one.
Do
What
we-
were you saying, Jesse?
Yeah,
Do
well,
you
I
have
mean,
to go, by the way,
just-
Bridget? I want to be respectful of your time. We didn't know this was going to go so long.
I mean, yeah, I probably should go soon.
Keep in mind the last time we saw Matt Gaetz talk about anything, we had, I think, a 5-hour stream.
Oh gosh,
4
yeah,
hours?
I can't stay
It's
that long.
an hour debate. Hold your horses there, buddy. Jeez, there might be another, I don't know, some kind of
Base Minnesota
procedural
says,
move.
is Dawson available for a loan to do some camera work, or is that breach of contract?
What's our website? cherrytreeimmin.com.
I don't freaking know.
Should probably-
The answer is yes. Reach
Yes,
out
you gotta
to me.
you gotta reach out to give them an email address to reach out to you.
You can do Dawson, DAWSON @ DRCUSA.com.
So Dawson works. Technically, this is Cherry Tree Studios. That's the entity that runs this thing. So yes, you could hire Dawson out.
You sure can.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did I interrupt you? Or
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that, what Thomas Massey was arguing there was he was saying that Kevin McCarthy is more conservative than Paul Ryan and John Boehner, and that's why he's doing a good job. Anybody would be more conservative than Paul Ryan and John Boehner. And, Thomas Massey also said there that, sure, Kevin McCarthy made these promises, but he couldn't promise Biden to sign any of this. No, he promised that you wouldn't pass these, crappy bills on the floor.
That's right.
So Massey, he's playing cover. He wants to be a
let's
senator.
Go back to Gaetz here. I don't want to interrupt Gaetz.
We are on a path.
First, we got Ilhan in the background.
Yeah,
If
Ilhan
this
behind him.
House does not take a different posture, a different procedure, and yield toward different outcomes and a better future. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1.5 minutes to my very good friend from Florida, Mr. Jimenez.
1.5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting you. I just don't want to miss a Gaetz thing. Obviously, I think our audience loves hearing us. That's why you guys come back. But I feel like right now you'd rather hear Matt Gaetz than Jesse and me talk. Probably Bridget, you'd like to hear him talk more. But other than that, we certainly know Tucker would like to hear you more than Matt Gaetz.
Gosh.
Well, that's a tricky one. Would he like Trump? Would he like to hear Trump more than?
No, I think he likes Gaetz.
No, I know, but I'm saying, would he?
No, probably Gaetz right now.
I'll abandon that course. Did you want to finish a point there, Jesse? I'm so sorry.
No, that was basically what I was trying to get out there.
Tucker's right. It says I'm correct. Yeah,
that's correct.
We know Tucker. We definitely know. You're a patriot. We love you. Yeah, they've gotten their so it was so predictable. Jim Jordan gives some street cred because Jim Jordan is liked, right? I mean, he's a likable guy. I mean, most of these guys are likable. They're politicians, right? They win popularity contests. But Jim Jordan's kind of known as the conservative. Why? I mean, he's got okay voting records, not one of the best. But it's because he talks tough. He's really taking it to him. But, don't you get a little sick of all these hearings that never manifest into anything getting done? Where is the fucking Hunter Biden subpoena? Where is it? They subpoenaed Don Jr. 1,000,000 times by now. Do you need more evidence on Hunter Biden? My God. Yeah. Why hasn't that subpoena happened? Yeah. So it's just, it's garbage. And by the way, they're going to, everything they accuse Matt Gaetz of doing, which they might be truly right about as selfish interest, but everything they accuse him of, they do themselves. Oh, look at me giving it to the Democrats or giving this crazy radical during a congressional hearing. That's why you got to donate $25 to my re-election campaign. It's the same thing. They're all playing the game. Let's hear what Matt Gaetz has to say, if he's going to reserve his time or not.
A great leader, a great speaker. Thank you, and I yield back.
Enthusiasm's going down.
Florida, Mr. Gaetz.
Mr. Speaker, may I inquire as to my remaining time?
Gentleman has 9 3/4 minutes remaining.
I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1.5 minutes to my very good friend from Iowa, the gentlelady, Ms. Henson.
The gentlelady from Iowa, Ms. Henson, is recognized for 1.5 minutes.
Now, here's the question I have for you. Of course, they're not going to let George Santos speak on behalf of McCarthy, which would be great entertainment, and I would love it.
Yeah.
Are they going to go to MGAT? Marjorie Taylor, MTJ, whatever.
MTG, yeah.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe she would, maybe she wouldn't, but she's been standing strong against this continuing resolution stuff, so I don't think that she has the interest in
Do you think she's won
making
11
this
votes?
kind of move. But
is she winning 11 votes?
I don't know. I don't know. That would be interesting to know, though. And
do you think
I'm
they'll
wondering,
summon Boebert from the back, who's applying pressure in the back?
Yeah, I didn't see that. Now I'm not seeing McCarthy on the floor either, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I thought he was in the middle when they.
Maybe he is. I didn't see him at least, but
it is interesting.
I wonder. Do you think they'll put any Democrats up there? Do you think that McCarthy's going to?
No.
I know that would probably be political suicide.
But here's the calculation here, Jesse. It's suicide for the Democrats to do it. They are never going to come to the aid of McCarthy. They'll be eaten alive by their radical, because that's what the Democrats do, is they play to the radical left, right? You really don't have a lot of moderate Democrats left. The Colin Petersons of the world, who lost in Congressional District 7, Minnesota, that will never go back Democrat, at least not in near term of these dynamics. They're gone. They all play to the radical left. That's how the Democrat Party works.
Yeah.
You think for a second Joe Biden believes a man can be a woman? No, he doesn't. He's playing to the radical fringes that are telling him what he's got to do. So he doesn't get any live. He stays in power, right? That's what Thomas Massey's doing. I can't upset the powers to be because I have other ambitions or I want to stay in power, right? That's why Massey goes to the floor and speaks in favor of McCarthy. It's the same thing that Joe Biden's doing. If Joe Biden's cognizant of it. Let's go back. Let's hear Matt.
And it shows how he caved because he used to vote against these people. Now he's speaking for them.
The signal is for $33 trillion in debt, facing $2.2 trillion annual deficits. And our fellow Americans may be watching, wondering, how does that happen? How does the greatest country in the world have a process so broken that it would be laughed out of the rooms in the halls of the state legislatures where many of us come from? Here's how it works. The law says we're supposed to have the very single-subject spending bills that my colleague referenced in the summer. That we're supposed to have that and move it. But there's a dirty little secret in this town, and that is if you delay, if you hold the bills, if you make multiple contradictory promises, as Speaker McCarthy has done, and you back everybody up against shutdown politics, well, nobody wants to shut the government down. No one cheers for a shutdown.
I kind of do, but
of course, when people are backed up against shutdown politics, the decision calculus changes. So year after year, decade after decade,
He's 100% right on this.
We break the law, and we do the same thing. We pass a continuing resolution, then we pass another continuing resolution, and then it's either another continuing resolution or an omnibus bill or a series of minibuses that lump these disparate things together. The American people want all of us to take votes on single subject matters. They don't want to see these things all mushed together and log rolled. And it was concerning to me to hear of news of a secret deal on Ukraine funding that would have log rolled more money with Ukraine with our southern border. Now, how offensive is that to our Customs and Border Patrol, to our ICE, to the people that are suffering as a consequence of our border, that some of my colleagues are only willing to stand up and fight for our border if they could send billions to Ukraine to fight for our border too? Well, I've had enough of that, and that's why I brought this motion to vacate. I reserve.
Gentleman's time is
Love it.
reserved. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1 minute to our distinguished majority leader, my good friend from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise.
Gentleman from Louisiana, the majority leader, Mr. Scalise, is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank my friend from Oklahoma for yielding. And when we go back to January, as many people have, we knew that it was going to be a narrow majority. We also knew that it wasn't going to be easy. How many of us came here because we thought this job was going to be easy? How many of us thought the task ahead of us to address the problems of this country was going to be easy? One thing we did know is that if we were going to finally start confronting problems that had been ignored for years and years and years, we had to change the way that this place worked. And one thing Speaker McCarthy embraced from day one is to start making those kind of changes to this institution, opening up the process, allowing members to be more engaged, having amendments come to the floor, single subject bills, doing appropriations bills. Yes, making that happen overnight is not something that happens automatically, but it started to happen, and we are now seeing the fruits of it. Just last week, we had 4 different appropriations bills on this House floor, 4 different ones. Now, those bills took weeks and weeks to finally get to the floor, going through an open committee process, hundreds of amendments, each one of them, where Republicans, Democrats could bring their ideas. And we debated those bills on the floor, some until after midnight, where members could actually participate in the process. This has been a broken process for a long time, but it's a process where if we're going to confront the problems that families are facing, because right now we need to resolve our differences inside this House chamber.
You're not solving the problems. You're giving us lip service here. Oh, now is not the time to solve these big problems. We have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Guess what that's called? Right? Doing the same thing over and over again. You are insane. Well, you're not insane. You know what you're doing. It's just lip service. And we're supposedly too stupid to understand this. That's what they think.
Every state, Republican districts, Democrat districts, everybody knows it. And it can be ignored by the White House, but this House is the only body that started to take action. When we, with H.R. 2, and then with the border bill last week, and with the action we took last week, over 70% of government funding passed out of the House. However everybody voted, Republican or Democrat, this House passed funding for over 70% of the federal government's operation, and it's sitting over in the Senate where they've passed zero. And we're going to beat up each other and talk about our internal processes, and we need to get our internal processes working better. But you know what? So does that other body over there, and so does the White House.
This is the big
Everybody
con in
this town
politics.
needs to be
They're always
engaged
worse than
in
us,
addressing
so we
these
can't
problems.
possibly do
But if
something.
we don't start here,
Yep.
Yep. It's not our fault. It's their fault. They're worse than us. Reelect us. It's the same old shit. Scalise isn't telling us anything they haven't told us a gazillion times. And that's why this is happening. People are sick and tired of this bullshit. By the way, this is not 1 minute. This is not 1 minute at all. He had 1 minute. He's gone way over the 1 minute. They're very bad with clocks in Congress.
To do our job. And Speaker McCarthy's been leading at the top of the level to make sure that we have the tools to do our jobs in a different way than the House has done it before. This House is going to have to continue to make those changes. But the American people sent us here to confront those problems. We're finally starting to. This isn't the time to slow that process down. We need to keep doing our work. We need to keep fighting for those
maybe you
families
should start
who are
doing your
struggling.
work.
But
God.
so does the Senate, and so does the White House as well. Let's keep doing this work that we were sent here to do. I yield back.
Kay Wall says we know what this is really about. They won't split up and debate the omnibus bill. It would take too many political scalps next election.
Yeah, it's very true.
And then Carlos
Hey,
said,
why is there a
MTG
Republican with a
Johnson.
mask on?
Recognized with 7
But she doesn't support
3/4
removing
minutes
McCarthy.
remaining.
There's
Mr.
literally a
Cole
Republican in the
demands
front with a mask on.
12
Oh,
and 1/2
not
minutes
surprising.
left in this debate. Gentleman from Florida.
I agree with everything that the majority leader said in those remarks, except one thing. It is astonishing to hear any colleague give Speaker McCarthy credit for moving on to the single subject appropriations bills. As you heard my colleague, Mr. Biggs, say, that was never the plan from Speaker McCarthy. The week before we moved on to those single subject appropriations bills, the plan was another CR. He pitched a CR. They tried to get us to vote for a CR, and only when a brave few said, we are done governing by continuing resolution. We are here to eulogize the era of continuing resolution. We will not do it. We will not pass it. These bills can go. The spending may rise and fall as the years pass. But the notion that we're going to lump in the Department of Education and the Department of Labor with our military and our troops and our Border Patrol is fundamentally unserious, and I would suggest chaotic. We cannot do that. It was only because we forced that to happen. And by the way, if we continue with Speaker McCarthy, the appropriations process will go right back to what he wanted it to go back to. Just a sideshow. Just a puppet show. Just something to keep the hamsters on the hamster wheel as they continue to back people up against a calendar, centralize power with the lobbyists and special interests that move all
some
kind
truth
of
bombs
money
there,
through
Jesse.
leadership.
Yep.
And then that's how they get their way, and that's why the American people have been getting screwed decade after decade, and I'm not going to tolerate it anymore without a fight. I reserve.
Gentleman's time is reserved. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend, fellow member of the Appropriations
See, there's a
Committee,
mask.
Mr. Garcia of California.
Gentleman from California, Mr. Garcia.
Who's the
is
Republican with
recognized
a
for
mask up there? That's the Republican side. Who's wearing a mask over there? See, these guys aren't true believers. Jeez. What is a mask going to do? Like, seriously. That's why I just question all these guys. It's a uniparty. You got mask wearers on the Republican conference. Joke. Like,
and you know, one thing that's interesting was, you know, with Ilhan sitting right behind Matt Gaetz there, you know, she's getting a front row seat to what, you know, the Democrats were pressuring her and the squad to do against Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, they didn't have the guts.
You know, and you know that's why a lot of people call them the fraud squad because you know they pretend like they're you know, they pretend like they're different, but really they're just standard line Democrats. They're going to do what they're told, and they're going to follow Nancy Pelosi or Hakeem Jeffries' orders. Maybe Ilhan Omar is maybe learning something from Matt Gaetz and understanding that you know, you can try to fight some of the corrupt pressures that go on in D.C. Not that Ilhan necessarily wants to do that anyway, but you know, it is nice that at least there's one person, or you know, we've heard from 3 people fighting for this so far: Bob Good, Matt Gaetz, and Andy Biggs. So it's nice that there's some people. We'll see if all those 10 or 11 votes still hold up at the end here.
We have a Rumble rant from Napkinator79. Said, great show, and I hope you all submitted your version of the Minnesota flag. Deadline is coming soon.
Thank you, Napkinator. Thanks for the reminder. We should do something. We should just put the Truth Hurts logo on it or something like that. Or we could have MAGA Jesse with his MAGA hat on. Would that be funny?
That'd be a good flag.
The flag says, "This is Trump country."
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh man, unbelievable.
Yes.
Yeah, Tucker, we could flood it with the submission's original flag, but I didn't like the fact they're redoing this, and then you kind of look at all the flags around the country, and we kind of do have a shitty flag.
Yeah, it's not that good.
No, it's not.
I don't mind.
I'm just fearful what it could become. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't mind them redoing the flag. It's just like, don't call it racist. It's like it's a guy farming and it's an Indian. There's nothing racist about that.
I know. Well, they got to scream about something.
Yeah.
So what we know is there's 3 votes right now. If you're just tuning in, 3 votes against McCarthy. They need 3 more votes to assure he's dead, assuming all the Democrats are in line and vote.
Yeah.
To solve problems too, but we have decade after decade of history showing us that you don't solve any problems with continuing resolutions and omnibus bills. That creates more problems, more debt, more inflation, more pain for American families. So the way to solve problems is to break the fever dream of governing by continuing resolution and omnibus bill and instead return to the very single subject spending bills that we will only get if my resolution passes to vacate Speaker McCarthy. I reserve.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry.
Gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry.
Tucker says, I love the flag. I like the crest. That's a good crest or seal or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But the flag, it's just so bizarre as a flag. Like, seriously. If you look
it's
at
not even that nicely drawn.
Right.
It's like it'd be one thing if it was like, that's beautiful art. But it's just one of those things that it's
But beautiful
just
art
meh.
doesn't belong on the flag. Like,
it's
think about
just
the American
meh.
flag. Isn't the American flag a gorgeous thing?
Yeah.
And it's simple. It's stripes and stars. That's what his flag is. It should be simple and good colors.
Right, it should be like the seal of your state. That's essentially what
the
it
seal
should
of
be.
the state should be something different.
Yeah.
That should be the nicely crafted design. The flag should be nice. Look how many countries, Ireland, did you know this there, Bridget? Ireland is just 3 colors, green, orange, and white.
Yeah.
You wear that? Okay, just want to know.
I was very aware.
In your international travels?
Actually, there's 2 flags that are like, there's the green, orange, and white. One's this way and one's this way.
India.
Yeah, I mixed them up.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, there's the Ireland
Did you
flag.
go to
and-
New Delhi instead of...
No, I just thought the Ireland flag was the Indian flag.
We love having you back, by the way, Bridget. We are getting to the end of this. Bridget's going to eventually have to take off, unfortunately, because we didn't literally. We have this show prepared for you. The most links I think we've seen ever on our show notes. We got through a lot of them prior to this, and then we're going to talk about Trump. I don't know if we'll have time to talk about Trump.
Yeah, I think we could even talk about Trump next time too.
We could,
and
probably.
there's only going to be more added onto the story by
Yes.
Thursday, so I think there's plenty to get into then.
This is the hottest thing in politics right now. We have to stay live. We got to commentate on it, right? This is historic. Has this happened?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm reading one of the comments. It says K-Wall for life. I think he's saying Nadler's
Nadler
passed
passed
out. So I saw Nadler
He'd have to be
sitting
passed
there,
in before he passes out.
Yeah, right.
Is he shitting his pants again? He literally shit his pants.
that-
What's Base Minnesota say?
That I always seem pleasant. Do I ever get mad? I do get mad sometimes.
I've seen
And when
it.
I get mad, I stay mad. Which is not good.
I've
Are
and
you
it's
vengeful?
terrifying.
It takes me a while to get over it.
I bet I could see that.
Depending.
Because we don't
But-
see you mad like ever.
Yeah.
Right. But I've seen
Mostly the
I've
people that
seen
see me mad is probably my family or close friends if I get mad.
Beanie's seen you mad.
Yeah.
I've seen
sure.
I've seen a little bit of rage on your side in politics, like at politics.
Yeah.
Let's
I
go
can
to
get
Becky.
heated in a
debt
moment.
limit deal. But
don't
here's
wanna
the
cut him off.
reality. The only Republicans in America who believe that the debt limit deal was conservative are in this chamber right now.
That's so
because
true.
all over America,
very true.
Republicans think that when you negotiated that debt limit deal, they took your lunch money.
Yep.
I reserve.
That's a great point.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 1.5 minutes to my very good friend from my home state, gentlelady Ms. Bice.
Gentlelady from Oklahoma, Ms. Bice, is recognized for one.
We are in the dark right now in terms of the votes because the people leading the charge against McCarthy, there's only been 3 that spoke. So that means there's 3 votes and you need 3 more. Now, at this point, if we were guessing, because it was Biggs, Good, and Gaetz speaking, I think Eli Crane, I think Rosendale are good. So that leads, the Chip Roys, Paulina Luna, Andy Harris. Could I put Gosler in that category? Andrew Clyde, maybe. Dan Bishop. So there's a good. They need six. They need six unless the Democrats have something up their sleeves. Now it's going to be chaos if Democrats vote present. I didn't even think of that before, Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
They could vote present, so they didn't technically vote for McCarthy. They just voted present, so they save face with their constituency.
Mm-hmm.
And their response would be, "Well, we're afraid of what they would have given us."
Yeah.
So McCarthy hangs on by present. Now, if that happened, is McCarthy lying to us? Because I'd be shocked. Why would he lie to us? Is McCarthy lying to us, and he orchestrated that deal with the Democrats? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Democrats all vote lockstep, and 3 more Republicans vote with Biggs, Good, and Gaetz, McCarthy's not the speaker.
Yeah, I'm looking at what the votes are right now. I can't distinguish which ones were Republicans or Democrats right now, but some of the people that were not voting included Paulina Luna, Nancy Pelosi, Peltola from Alaska. So there's some interesting names of the people who skipped voting as well.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend and our distinguished conference leader, Ms. Stefanik of New York.
The gentlelady from New York, Ms. Stefanik, is recognized.
I don't care about Stefanik. Big Trump person. That's the other dynamic here that the media wants to drive into as, Trump is pro-McCarthy, and so, it's creating all this dilemma. It's like, someone's going to have to carry on the MAGA mantle, right? Trump's eventually going to pass on. Either
Jesse.
literally pass on or, well,
Jesse
yeah.
can carry it on.
he's so young.
Uh-huh.
But, is it Matt Gaetz? Who is it?
I know. I'd be good with it being Matt Gaetz. So far, I've been really impressed with him, and he's just doing everything that I'd be doing if I were in Congress, so I got no complaints with him. And, what's interesting is Trump people are on both sides of these arguments right now. But, I think the real hardcore ones are on our side saying, McCarthy didn't live up to his end of the deal. We need to stand up to it. Meanwhile, the DeSantis camp, they're all behind McCarthy. You look at, Thomas Massey, for example, these people are weak. These people will cave. They'll do anything. They got no loyalty except to McCarthy. So it's just pathetic to see.
Here's the deal. If you are against this move, I got a notepad for you. Would you please, somewhere on here, write down the date we can have the conversation, try to solve the debt issue. Please, just here's a notepad for you. Tell us when it's okay to finally solve this issue. Oh, you don't want to solve the issue. Okay, then at least don't hate on the people that are trying to solve it.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got here?
So if you have private conversations you need to have, please take them from the floor.
We got to be getting close.
Gentlelady may continue.
As I have said, the speaker has been...
So as an interruption, once again, as I was stating, if this is not the right time or place, that's one of the excuses politicians use. If it's not the right time and place to have this conversation, please write down on here. Let me know. Day and hour. I don't need the hour. Give me the day. When can we finally address the $33 trillion in debt? Can we have that conversation at some point in the future? Let's go back to Matt Gaetz.
Gentlelady or gentleman from Florida.
I would just say if this House of Representatives has exceeded all expectations, then we definitely need higher expectations.
Yeah.
And while it's heartwarming and kind that the Speaker calls people on their birthday and visits their district and congratulates them on their children, please know this isn't a critique of the individual, it's a critique of the job. The job hasn't been done. We've had multiple contradictory promises, and it's just quite something. For those of you keeping track at home, the last 3 speakers you've heard opposing my resolution all voted for the debt deal. So if you believe that the debt limit deal that Speaker McCarthy brought into law was a good thing, maybe you agree with their perspective. I think the debt limit deal was a terrible deal, and that's one of the reasons. It really was the original sin of the McCarthy speakership, and it's one of the reasons I seek to vacate the chair now. I reserve.
Gentleman, time is reserved. Gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I yield 2 minutes to my very good friend from the great state of Louisiana, Mr. Graves.
Gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Graves.
So, You know, this is the other thing that's fascinating about this discussion, Jesse, is Matt Gaetz from January on basically put himself in a box, and we loved it. If you are a conservative and you saw, if you're an American patriot and don't want to see the demise of America, which is going to happen fiscally, then you should be happy that Matt Gaetz stood up in January and made a deal to get better negotiations, better rules, all that kind of stuff. Actually make them do the budget, make them do their work. You must be happy. Once he made that deal and it wasn't honored by McCarthy, then he's a chump if he doesn't do something about it. And I remember during that debt ceiling debate, because we were very critical of that debt ceiling, right? Most conservatives were. Only conservatives, as he said, that thought that was a good deal were the ones in the halls of Congress. So Matt Gaetz had to do something here. I thought he might have had to do something back then, but clearly, you know, the Thomas Massey's of the world said, I'm voting for the debt bill because I got a thing. I got this magic tool we're going to use during the actual budget negotiation. That's what Massey's excuse is back then. Now you got Massey speaking out saying, oh, McCarthy's doing a great job. Where was your deal there, Massey? You didn't do shit.
Yep.
So in the end of the day, Gaetz had to do something about it. Otherwise, he's a chump. And he's doing something about it. Thank God. I appreciate that. Once again, I'm opining on the merits of his conversation, of the content he's doing. I have no idea. Maybe he's not a great guy. You seem to like him. You probably know better than I do. But I got to say, what he is saying, the merits of his discussion are spot on.
Yeah.
Bad Hat Harry says, too many rhinos in the GOP. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get through this vote right now and see exactly who all voted with the Democrats against McCarthy to actually hold the vote. I'm finding 8 Republicans right now. Obviously, there's a few more. But Ken Buck, Victoria Spartz, Matt Rosendale, Eli Crane, Andy Biggs, Bishop, Matt Gaetz, and Tim Burchett were all Republicans.
Buck was never a vote against McCarthy, so I wouldn't say that's reliable.
Right, that's what I'm thinking too.
Eli Crane's been impressive, and so between Dan Bishop and who was the other one you mentioned?
Tim Burchett?
No. Burchett wasn't.
Oh, Victoria Spartz.
No, but Spartz she was present. Yeah, she was.
Yeah, she was voting present during that entire thing.
Read that list
not the
again.
entire thing.
Read that list again.
Ken Buck, Rosendale, Victoria Spartz, Eli Crane, Andy Biggs, Bishop, Gaetz, Burchett.
But Good's not on there. I mean, Good.
Let me check for Good real quick.
Well, you're still missing 3 votes because it wasn't 11.
Yeah. Yeah. Good's on there. Yeah, I'm looking at an entire list, so I'm trying to locate which ones are Republicans at the same time.
I mean, the way I look at it is he's probably got Dan Bishop and Eli Crane at this point.
Yeah.
Eli Crane, former Navy SEAL. Let's go back to Matt Gaetz here. Comes from the courts here.
The gentleman from Florida.
My colleague says we've passed the strongest border bills in history. Well, guess what? Look at the border right now.
Yeah.
We didn't use sufficient leverage in the debt limit or in any other thing to actually get results on the border. The border is a disaster, really something I don't think you're going to be campaigning on, that you fixed the border. Second, you said you streamlined regulations. What the gentleman from Louisiana doesn't tell you is that all of the regulatory reform he was just bragging about is waivable by the stroke of a pen of someone in the Biden White House. Do you really think you got anything for that? It's a total joke. And then finally, the welfare to work that the gentleman from Louisiana said we got. The welfare programs that they said that they streamlined with their welfare to work stuff, they're actually going to grow. Because while they did work requirements, they blew out those programs with expanded eligibility. I'm real glad you guys didn't put work requirements on Medicaid. It probably would have resulted in Medicaid expansion. And when it comes to how those raise money, I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, 10 and
I kind of
20,
feel like giving him
$30
$25
at a time.
tonight, you
You
know?
all keep showing up at the lobbyist
I might have to give him a
fundraisers and see how that
donation.
goes for you. I reserve.
I love that. That's a great line. One of the best lines on the floor.
Once again, the chair would admonish those speaking from the floor to direct their comments to the chair.
He was.
Gentleman from Oklahoma.
You were included.
Speaker, I would inquire as to how much time remains for each side.
From Oklahoma controls 3 minutes. The gentleman from Florida has 3 minutes as well.
I advise the gentleman from Florida I'm prepared to close if he is. Mr. Speaker, I yield the balance of my time to my great friend from North Dakota, Mr. Armstrong.
Gentleman from North Dakota, Mr. Armstrong, is recognized with the remaining 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let's be clear why we're here. Because the incentive structure in this town is completely broken. We no longer value loyalty,
sometimes it
integrity.
takes me only 10 seconds to realize this guy's full of shit. So let's commentate until we get to Matt Gaetz's closing argument. It's interesting that only 3 speakers. I still think, guys, this was helpful that they did this. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Brad Ganser said earlier on, there's some backroom deals happening. You got Lauren Boebert in the back applying pressure.
Well,
Okay.
and she voted with the.
that was a joke.
Yeah, no, I know.
Please.
But she voted with the McCarthy crew there.
She
So,
did.
Yeah.
Well, that's understandable.
Mhm.
You done screwed up, Boebert.
Yep.
Dumb,
Yeah, she just
dumb,
wants
dumb,
to
dumb. Yep.
lay low.
She's gonna lay low. She's gonna get in line now because you
Mhm.
can't keep your hands to yourself. It's unbelievable. It's just, well, it's actually very believable. Why am I saying unbelievable? It's very believable. So it's interesting they only have 3 people speaking. So we'll see. We don't know this vote. It takes all of 6 Republicans, assuming that's the other dynamic. Some Democrats could vote president. They could vote for Speaker McCarthy. We don't know. If you took McCarthy at his word, we know how good that is these days. He didn't make a deal with the Democrats. You know what? He's probably like, I didn't, but my guy did, you know? What's Beck for Liberty say? Stefanik looks like she hasn't slept in days. Well, what are you, like 10 minutes behind in this thread here, William? Like, geez.
At least he's here now.
I guess he is. School's over. Or is he doing this during class?
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to shape the young minds, William? It'd be nice to have straight-laced here. You know some of these personalities. Add some commentary. Might be good.
DeSantis.
If I would have known this was coming up, I would have gotten Mort here. Because Mort was basically the Gaetz of Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
They hated him.
True.
All right, let's hear Matt Gaetz's closing arguments, and then we're getting to the real stuff. So shocked that they didn't bring Marjorie Taylor Greene out.
Gentleman yields back his time. The gentleman from Florida is recognized with 3 minutes remaining.
To be clear, I tried to get one of the 3 podiums on the Republican side, and y'all wouldn't let me have them, so you sent me over here. But you know what? I'll make this argument at any desk in this building, from the well, from the chair. I'll make it on every street corner in this country that Washington must change. We have to break the cycle. We have to break the fever. And I would hope, truly, that the reforms that we are fighting for are reforms that would last and be embraced and that would democratize power in this institution beyond the privileged few who back us up against shutdown politics and Christmases and deadlines in order to achieve their objectives. Mr. Speaker, high inflation is on the verge of bankrupting American families. Our economy is breaking in half. A typical American family can't afford to buy a house in 99% of U.S. counties. Inflation is stealing more than $700 a month from working Americans, nearly $9,000 a year. Kevin McCarthy is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he has failed to take a stand where it matters. So if he won't, I will. I make no apologies for defending the right of every hardworking American to afford a decent life for themselves and their families, and we have a greater opportunity to do that and to build coalitions under new leadership. We have to rip off the Band-Aid. We have to get back on a better course. And Mr. Speaker, I don't know how this vote's going to go. Usually when a vote comes to this floor, it's pretty predetermined. And this one, I'm not so sure.
You got to imagine he knows, don't you
I
think?
am sure that we've made the right argument. that this place deserves single subject spending bills, that we should have 72 hours to read a bill, that something that spends more than $100 million shouldn't be put on the suspension agenda such that we can't amend it, and there shouldn't be secret side deals made on a continuing resolution to lump Ukraine in with border security. That is not right for Ukraine or border security because it fails to give either of those issues the dignity that they would require. But we can return that dignity to this House. We can get back on a better path. We can have single subject appropriations bills. We can set a budget top line. We haven't had a budget in this place since I was in high school. So let's get a budget. Let's get our act together. Let's get on with it. Let's vacate the chair, and let's get a better speaker. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back his time. All time for debate has expired. Without objection, the previous question is ordered on the resolution. The question is on adoption of the resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The noes have it. The resolution is, gentleman from Florida.
I'd request the yeas and nays.
The yeas and nays are requested.
Right
Those
on.
favoring
I don't think the
vote by
Democrats
yeas
knew
and
that-
nays
what
will
to say.
rise.
Mm-hmm.
A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered.
There we go.
Pursuant to Clause 3 of Rule 20, the chair directs the clerk to conduct the vote by a call of the roll. The clerk will call the roll alphabetically.
We're going to learn it pretty quick.
By surname.
I mean, Biggs, Bishop, Crane, Gaetz, Good. Yeah, we should know by the G's.
You know, actually, I think Bishop might have been another bishop who, a Democratic bishop who voted against it. But
Yeah,
based on the reporting I'm seeing from the LA Times, the 11 Republicans who voted against McCarthy on that was Ken Buck, Matt Rosendale, Victoria Spartz, Eli Crane, Andy Biggs, Matt Gaetz, Tim Burchett, Bob Good, Corey Mills, Warren Davidson, and Nancy Mace. So I didn't notice Nancy
and
Mace
you're
on that
hearing
list.
B's and D's and G's. I mean, this is you'll learn real quick.
Yeah. And Nancy Mace is an interesting one. You know, she's not always good, but every once in a while, she's got some good things out there.
Are we blocking an encounter right now,
Yay.
Dawson?
All four.
Are we blocking a counter like the little window we have?
Allen. Nay. All red. Yay. Amadei. Nay. Armstrong. No. Arrington.
This is actually on
Nay.
the vote.
What's that?
They're taking a vote on whether or not to vacate right now.
Auchincloss.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
It's gonna. I mean,
Babin.
Biggs. So we get to B would be the
Nay.
first Republican we think would be the.
Bacon.
And we know Biggs because he said
Nay.
he wasn't. He said he wasn't going to vote.
Baird. Nay. Balderson. Nay. Ballant. Yay. Banks. Banks. Barr. Nay. Barragan. Barragan. Yay. Bean of Florida. Nay. Beatty. Yay. Bentz. Nay. Barra. Yay. Bergman. Nay. Beyer. Yay. Bice. Nay. Biggs. Yay.
Okay, so here's
All
one
right, there's
Republican,
one.
Biggs.
Next up is
Milarakis.
Ken Buck.
Nay. Bishop of Georgia. Yay. Bishop of North Carolina. Yay.
Oh, Bishop of
Nay.
Bishop too.
Nope. She said nay.
Oh, that's what I initially heard.
Blumenauer. Yay. Blunt Rochester. Yay. Boebert.
No for now.
Nay.
Jeez. She's a child. She's
Yeah.
so.
Bonamici.
No for now.
Jeez.
Yay. Bost. Nay. Bowman. Yay. Boyle of Pennsylvania. Yay. Burkine. Nay.
So they didn't get Burkine. So you're
Brown.
right. Buck is the big one here.
Yay. Brownlee. Yay. Buchanan. Nay. Buck. Yay.
Wow.
Yep, they got Buck.
I didn't think that
Buchan.
happened.
So
No.
we're at 4 right now. Assume Gaetz and
Basinski.
Good.
Yay.
We got Michael Cloud, Andrew Clyde, possibly.
Burchett. Yay.
All right, we got 3.
Who was that?
That was Burchett.
Burgess.
Oh, Burchett.
Yep, Tim
Nay.
Burchett.
Burleson. Nay. Bush.
All right, Eli Crane is
Bush.
next. Eli Crane is the next big vote.
Come on,
Calvert.
Eli. Well, you got Cloud and
Nay.
Clyde that could be. But yeah,
Kamek.
Eli Crane would be my bet.
Yeah.
Kamek.
If Crane votes aye or yay,
Caraveo.
it's done because you know
Yay.
Gaetz and Good will fall
Carbajal.
Yeah.
Yay.
through. And I would think Rosendale's going to stay true.
Cardenas. Yay. Carey. Nay. Carl.
You can't leave, Bridget. You just haven't.
Nay.
It's too interesting,
Well, I'm
isn't
just waiting for the end of this.
Carson.
And then I should go.
Yay. Carter of Georgia. Nay. Carter of Louisiana. Yay. Carter of Texas. Carter of Texas. Cartwright. Yay. Kassar. Yay. Case. Yay. Caston. Yay. Castor of Florida. Yay. Castro of Texas. Yay. Chavez de Reamer. Nay. Sharfelis McCormick. Yay. Chu. Yay. Cisco Mani.
She sounds so excited. Yay.
Nay. Clark of Massachusetts.
T-Wall
Yay.
gave $15 Rumble Rant. Missed watching on
Clark
Tuesday,
of New
Thursday during the
York.
day.
Oh, thanks, T-Wall. Appreciate
Yay.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
Cleaver. Yay. Klein.
Okay, we're getting to
Nay.
Cloud and Clyde potential. but-
Cloud. Nay.
So Cloud's not there.
Clyburn.
Andrew Clyde would be the next possible one.
Yay.
Crane is the safe bet. we
Clyde. Nay.
Yep.
Cohen. Yay. Cole. Nay.
believe. So all coming down to Eli Crane, basically.
Collins.
Mm-hmm.
Nay. Comer. Nay. Connolly. Yay. Correa. Yay.
Got goosebumps, Jesse.
Mm-hmm. It's
Costa.
happening.
Yay. Courtney. Yay. Craig. Yay. Crane.
He did.
Yay.
There we go.
That's it.
Crawford.
It's Gaetz and Good
Nay.
still haven't voted yet, but
Crenshaw.
wow. I like that Eli Crane.
Nay.
I gotta admit.
Crockett.
All right, next one up
Yay.
is Warren Davidson.
Crow. Yay. Cuellar. Yay. Curtis. Nay. Davis of Kansas. Yay. Davidson. Nay.
Oh, okay, so Davidson flipped.
Davis of Illinois. Yay. Davis of North Carolina.
And I gotta imagine Byron Donalds won't be
Yay.
on board.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Dean of Pennsylvania.
I think Gaetz and Good are the next ones
Yay.
to look at.
I mean, Gaetz and Goods both
To Gaetz.
spoke, so
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
you know, how can Gaetz be hated by more people?
Dela Cruz.
He votes the wrong way.
Yeah, right.
Nay.
Yeah, if Gaetz flipped on us right now, that would be crazy.
Oh God. Well,
Del
he'll
Bene.
be the most popular guy in Washington D.C. because everyone's gonna want to
Yay.
talk to him.
Yep.
Cameras will be on
Deluzio.
him.
Yay.
We're at 4
Desaulniers.
Republicans voting yay. What could basically
Yay.
happen is a Democrat trick here,
Desjardins.
or someone changes a vote.
Nay. D'Esposito.
I mean, McCarthy's got to be
Nay.
Emmer, who's a
Diaz
whip, and
Balart.
McCarthy got to be. Are
Nay.
they sweating or they got something? Do they know?
Dingle.
I mean,
Yay.
watch one of the Democrats flip
Doggett.
to make it not work. You know, I could see that
Yay.
happening too.
Donalds. Nay.
Donalds was so impressive, you know, back in
Duarte.
the day, in January.
Mhm.
No. Nay. Duncan. Nay.
And by the way, even
Dunn of Florida.
if you get past Gaetz and Good, you got Rosendale, who's
Nay.
probably good. But you got to wait till the
Edwards.
R's.
Nay.
So, yeah.
Elsie. Nay. Emmer. Nay.
Leave it to Emmer to be the
Escobar.
loudest one.
Yay. Eshue. Yay. Espaillat. Yay. Estes.
No worries. Thank you very much, Bridget.
Yeah.
Nay. Evans. Yes. Yay. Azell.
Check in with us
Nay.
at 9 o'clock tonight.
Fallon.
I got football. I got to coach. There's no
Nay.
way I could be there that long.
Finstra.
It looks like it's going to be another 20 minutes. We'll find out. Thanks so
Nay.
much. Take care.
Ferguson. No. Finstad.
Oh,
Nay.
of course Finstad's not on board.
Mhm.
Can't get a
Fishbach.
good vote on
Yeah, big
Minnesota.
surprise.
Nay.
Yep, and Fishbach either.
Fitzgerald. Nay. Fitzpatrick. Nay. Fleischman. Nay. Fletcher. Yay. Flood.
So Gaetz is the next one
Nay.
that I would imagine here.
Yep.
Foster. Yay.
We don't know all 435 members in
Fucci.
case we miss something, but I doubt we missed
Yay.
something here.
Mm-hmm.
Fox.
But the count is 4 Republicans have
Yep.
voted
Lois
against
Frankel.
Speaker McCarthy. They need 2 more
Yay.
left, and you still have Gaetz, Good,
C.
and
Scott
Rosendale.
Franklin.
Yep.
And by
Nay.
probably 20 more members, we'll know because
Frost.
Good will be up.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
I mean, Gaetz will be up here in a couple.
Fry.
At the end of
Nay.
the Fs. Barring,
Fulcher.
barring a changed vote
Nay.
at the end or barring Democrats.
Gates.
So there you go.
Yay.
There's the 5.
Gallagher. Nay.
So will the chambers
Gallego.
change? Will you hear
Yay.
a reaction when Good says
Garamendi.
yay?
Yeah,
Or
I think
Yay.
there might be some groans.
Barbarino.
I don't know. I think they will react unless they got
Nay.
something planned.
Mike Garcia.
Razzledazzle says, "You see my
Nay.
Facebook hammering on Emmer? What a hack."
Robert Garcia. Yay.
Bad Head Harry, no, I didn't. Got close.
Garcia of
I
Illinois.
was with a bow. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
No elk. Lots of elk.
Garcia of
it's close
Texas.
to a lot of elk.
Yay. Jimenez. Nay. Golden of Maine.
We're getting right there. Good's
Yay.
coming up.
Goldman of New York. Yay. Gomez. Yay.
Here we go.
Tony Gonzalez.
Oh, not yet.
Tony Gonzalez. Vicente Gonzalez. Yay. Good of Virginia.
There it is.
Yay.
That's 6.
Gooden of Texas.
So we got this right. Biggs,
Yeah.
Buck, Burkett,
Gooden
Crane,
of
Gates,
Texas.
and Good.
Mm-hmm.
And you still have
Gosar.
Rosendale to add more.
Yeah. And Corey Mills, Nancy
Nay.
Mace, and Victoria Sparks
Gottheimer.
might join on too.
What's Mace got?
Yay.
Like I'm curious.
Granger.
Yeah, she
Nay.
voted
Graves
against
of
McCarthy.
Louisiana. Nay. Graves of Missouri. Nay. Green of Tennessee. Nay. Green of Texas.
Always.
Yay.
Always.
Green of Georgia. Nay. Griffith. Nay.
Yeah, Nancy
Grijalva.
Mace is the next one to listen to.
Yay.
Did we miss one that
Grothman.
didn't?
Huh?
Did we
Nay.
miss somebody that voted? Okay.
Nope.
So
Guest.
Mace is next.
Yep, Mace is next.
Nay.
Mason Mills.
Guthrie. Nay. Hageman. No. Harder of California. Yay. Harris. Nay. Harshbarger. Nay. Hayes. Yay. Hearn. Nay. Higgins of Louisiana. Nay. Higgins of New York. Yay. Hill. Nay. Himes. Yay. Henson. Nay. Horsford. Yay. Houchin. Nay. Houlihan.
Houlihan.
Yay. Hoyer. Hoyer. Yay. Hoyle of Oregon. Yay. Hudson. Nay. Huffman. Yay. Huizinga. Nay. Hunt. Hunt. Nay. Isa. Nay. Ivy. Yay. Jackson of Illinois. Yay. Jackson of North Carolina.
Nancy
Yay.
Mace, according to ABC News, I was made promises by the speaker that have
Jackson
not
of
been
Texas.
kept.
Nay. Jackson Lee.
It must be a video because I can't actually
Yay.
see anything in this article.
Jacobs.
According to The Hill, Nancy Mace, she's undecided
Yay.
on ousting McCarthy, but
James.
as Jesse alluded to, she was one of the votes. She's the next vote, but of people who voted
Jayapal.
against the resolution or the motion to table.
Jeffries. Yay.
Right now, the Republicans have
Johnson
6.
of Georgia.
Biggs, Buck, Burkett, Crane,
Yay.
Gates, and Good. So if all the Democrats
Johnson
vote
of
this way,
Louisiana.
McCarthy's gone.
Nay. Johnson of
Things
Ohio.
can happen. Okay.
Nay. Johnson of
I gotta
South
imagine.
Dakota.
Well, and I read that Nancy Pelosi didn't vote because she's
Nay.
not there.
Jordan.
So Nancy Pelosi is in
Nay.
California getting ready for Feinstein's funeral.
Joyce of
so
Ohio.
maybe the Republicans do have the numbers to play with here. I'm not sure.
Nay.
That would be crazy.
Joyce of Pennsylvania. Nay. Camlogger Dove. Yay.
No, they don't. Because
Captor.
if there's less people and there's
Yay.
6 already,
Yeah.
right,
Kane of New
they're
Jersey.
screwed.
Right.
Nay.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. If the yeah, you're right.
Keating.
Democrats are gone. It takes away from that. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yay. Kelly of Illinois.
But not all Republicans vote either, so maybe there's
Yay.
some Republicans missing today,
Kelly
too.
of
I can't
Mississippi.
imagine. Wouldn't that be funny if he goes down
Yeah.
because a
Nay.
Republican wasn't there?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that what
Kelly
happened to
of
Ken Buck
Pennsylvania.
during the original speaker vote?
Yeah, Ken Buck wasn't
Nay.
there for part of it.
Kana. Yay.
What is going through McCarthy's head right now?
Kiggins of Virginia.
And wouldn't it be hilarious if
Nay.
Pelosi was the one that saved him at the end? We're
Yeah.
still tracking
Guilty.
Rosendale's left, so that's 7.
Yeah.
Yay. Kylie.
And maybe Sparts is mad at him.
Nay.
Yeah. She's only doing one
Kilmer.
term. Sparks isn't running for
Yay.
re-election, so she's got nothing to lose.
Kim of California.
Is
Nay.
Miller? What did she not vote the right way?
Kim of New Jersey.
Yeah, Miller didn't vote
Yay.
correct, I don't think.
Krishnamurthy. Yay. Custer. Yay. Kustoff.
I'm just trying to go through. We got
Nay.
Luna. I mean, that'd be the other vote
LaHood.
before we get to Nancy Mace. So,
Nay.
let's just go to a little
Lalota.
commentary here for the time being. Because,
Nay.
we got, we're on K. We got a lot of L's.
Yeah.
LaMalfa.
I got to grab a charger real quick.
Yeah, and we don't
Nay.
have a ticker here.
Lamborn.
I'm wondering if C-SPAN has got a ticker. I don't think they did that last time.
Lamborn.
So
Nay.
this isn't perfect, but
Landsman.
essentially, if there's 6 Republicans and all the Democrats vote one way, then he's out because the
Langworthy.
magic number is 218 with a full body, right?
Nay.
218, 217, that's 435.
Larson of Washington.
And so with Democrats
Yay.
having 212 people,
Larson
6
of
is it.
Connecticut.
God, I thought
Yay.
they did have 212 Democrats vote before, but I
Latta.
can't remember that count. When Jesse gets back in, he's
Nay.
got to get charged. We didn't know we'd go for 2.5 hours.
LaTurner.
In fact, I can't go much beyond 4 o'clock today.
Lawler.
I got to get back, and I got some football coaching to do. So,
Lee of
but that's the boat we're in. So right now, it appears McCarthy's done.
Florida.
And I am, quite frankly, pretty excited about that because
Lee of
in my
Nevada.
time,
They're acting too calm, though. It's too calm. I almost think
I am
there's more
worried.
to the story. I don't know yet. I'm hoping the same exact thing, but they're acting too calm. McCarthy's acting a little too, soft about things. He wouldn't go down without a fight. So
and then does the establishment just nominate McCarthy again?
they
I
might.
mean, nothing prohibits them from doing that. I
Yeah,
doubt.
there'd be nothing to stop them. So
And if that's the case, we're gonna end the stupid live stream and
yeah,
go, this is Congress.
If it's
this is
just
the guys that
gonna be
can't pass the budget.
a representation of McCarthy, another 15 votes or whatever, no way. Yeah. Maybe this time he'd actually keep his promises. Who knows?
Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Nay. Luke Kameyer.
Yeah, I see what Carla Nelson's talking about.
Nay.
That's also a pretty funny, interesting story. So, yeah, LaFonza Butler, who is now the new appointed senator from California, who was appointed because of Dianne Feinstein's death. She doesn't even live in California. She's a black lesbian lady who lives in Maryland. She runs that Emily's List, which Everybody knows endorses these women for office. You know, it's a lot of rhinos. It's a lot of Democrats. That's who
They
Newsom.
support Republicans? I thought it was all Democrats.
No, I think Emily's List has endorsed Republican candidates before. Like, I can't think of an example, but I'm.
Did we miss one there? No.
Nay.
But yeah, I mean that's also a crazy story. What's going on in California?
Why is PBS scanning?
Manning.
That was weird. They're
Yay.
scanning for some reason. Razzled as who was the sixth? So once again, if I just show you the names,
Nay.
Andy Biggs, Ken Buck, Tim Burkett, Eli Crane, Matt Gaetz,
Nay.
Bob Good would have been the last one.
Matsui.
We're waiting for Nancy Mace. What do we
I
got
think
right
Mace was passed. I just heard Massey, so we might need to go back a tiny bit.
Yay. McCall.
Yeah, it's on McCall. So
Will you go back up a little
McLean.
bit? Me and my big mouth.
McClellan.
keep going.
Yay.
We're looking for Mace.
McClintock. Yay. Macbeth.
Keep
Back.
going. You got to go back another
Yay.
30 seconds.
Mace.
Here we go.
Yay.
Oh, okay.
Mace
Now,
voted
fast
for
forward.
it.
Let's go back live here.
McGarvey.
I didn't think
Yay.
it was coming up that quick.
Yeah,
my,
me neither.
My
Governor.
clock's as bad as Congress. So there you go. There's
Yay.
7 votes.
McHenry.
Is this live?
Nay.
Okay. Yeah,
Meeks.
Mills is next. Corey Mills.
Yay.
And-
Menendez. Yay. Ming. Yay. Muser. Nay. Mfume. Yay. Miller of Illinois. Nay.
Dang it.
Miller of Ohio. Nay. Miller of West Virginia. Nay. Miller Meeks.
Here you go, Mills.
Nay.
Corey Mills, Florida.
Mills. Mills. Molinaro.
He didn't vote.
Wow.
Nay.
It's not even needed.
Molinar. Nay.
What's the next one after that?
Mooney.
Let's see.
Nay.
Rosendale and then Sparks. So we're down to the final
And
two.
I think we're solid in Rosendale.
I think so too.
More of
Dawson,
Alabama.
I just got a note that the C-SPAN's
Nay.
got a ticker. Will you go to the C-SPAN
More
feed
of
instead of
Utah.
PBS?
If you look up U.S. House
Nay.
Live, it pulls right
More
up.
of Wisconsin.
I don't know why we ended up on PBS anyhow.
Yeah, it was just one that I had
I guess
found.
either one we're paying for, right?
Yeah. Yep, no, that's right. And click on that. Yep, there you go.
Yay. Mervan.
Make her
Yay.
big.
Mullen. Yay.
What's going on?
Murphy.
I mean,
Nay.
do you guys see what you need to see? here?
Nadler.
No, I'm not seeing the ticker
No,
on there.
Can you make it big?
Yay.
Yeah, expand the picture.
Napolitano.
And then are we in the way of the ticker?
No.
Yay.
Maybe we need to go. Do we need to go to their
Neal.
YouTube, you think?
Yay.
Let's just go to the YouTube.
Nagoose. Yay.
And what is it? C-SPAN?
C-SPAN, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still got a couple of votes away before
No,
we're getting
yeah,
to
there you
Rosendale. So.
Napolitano.
Nope, there you go.
Here we go. Oh, and they're not counting him as present. They're not counting the
Yay.
Corey Mills non-vote
Neal.
as
Yeah,
present.
because he didn't vote present.
Yay.
Right.
Nagoose. Yay.
It's almost worse having this ticker because it's deceiving. You have no idea if there's more. I want to say there's more Democrats coming up towards the end because they got all those,
Newhouse. Nay.
like, what's the word I'm
Nibble.
looking for? Immigrant names and stuff.
Yay.
Yeah.
Norcross. Yay.
Williams,
Norman.
Williams helping from afar. Dawson emailed you the link.
None
Thanks
of
there,
Iowa.
Mr. Straight Laced.
Nay. Obernolte. Nay.
Can we turn up the volume just a little bit?
Ocasio-Cortez. Yay.
AOC was yay. There you go. AOC.
Yep. Locks it up.
Omar. Yay.
So was Ogles a nay?
Owens. Nay.
Because Ogles was like one of the
Hello.
guys that was good during
Yay.
the original.
Palmer. Nay. Panetta. Yay. Pappas. Yay.
Yeah, we got our own Pappas here.
Pasquarel. Yay. Payne.
I mean, you
Yay.
just can't keep it more dramatic than
Pelosi.
have that ticker that's like, what? No Pelosi.
Pelosi.
Yeah, she ain't
Peltola.
there.
I mean, like literally,
And
if it's
Peltola didn't vote
Pelosi
either.
that makes the
Peltola.
difference.
Peltola, I don't know if she's there. She's Alaska's
Pence.
representative. Oh, she voted yes. Okay.
Yay.
Who was that?
She's a
Perez.
Democrat, but
Oh,
Yay.
but she didn't vote on the vote before
Perry.
this.
Nay. Peters. Yay. Pedersen. Yay. Pfluger. Nay. Phillips. Yay. Pingree.
we're waiting for Rosendale.
Yeah.
Rosendale will be the next one that I think.
Yep.
we'll see.
Pocan. Yay. Porter. Yay. Posey.
It's interesting to do a show that you didn't know this was the direction it was going to go
Nay.
in.
Yep.
We had such a jam-packed show, and
Presley.
then the material was given to us today at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Well,
Quigley.
that's why it's good to go live.
Yay. Ramirez. Yay.
Coming up.
Raskin. Yay. Reschenthaler. Nay. Rogers of Washington. Nay. Rogers of Alabama.
Remember, Rosendale kind of likes to pause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nay.
Kevin Hearn.
Yeah.
Rogers of Kentucky.
Coming up.
Nay. Rose. Nay.
There you go, Rosendale right here.
Yep.
Rosendale.
Yep.
Yay.
There you go.
Ross.
So
Yay.
there, by my count, is 8.
Rouser.
Yep. That's what I got too.
Is there
And
any left
Nay.
on the list for
Victoria Sparks.
Roy.
S-P-A-R-T-Z.
Victoria Sparks and Mills still hasn't
Nay.
voted.
Yep. So Sparks could make it 10
Ruiz.
or 9.
Yay. Rupersberger. Yay. Rutherford.
I mean,
Nay.
Chip Roy, I'm guessing, is not on board, but we'll see.
Ryan.
Oh, no,
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
I guess we've already gone past him.
Salazar.
Mm-hmm.
Nay. Salinas. Yay.
I hope we didn't miss Roy, but I think we did.
Sanchez.
Yeah, we did.
No, but I'm saying,
Yay.
I'm guessing he didn't do
Oh,
the right
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Santos.
Here's Joe Santos.
Nay.
Made a save,
All
Joe
right, Santos is
Sarbanes.
McCarthy's back.
Yay. Scalise. Nay. Scanlon. Yay. Schakowsky. Yay. Schiff. Yay. Schneider. Yay.
Is there
Skolton.
a side of Kevin McCarthy that's like,
Yay. Schreier.
I'm sick of this shit. I'm done.
Mhm.
Right? This isn't
Yay.
worth it to me.
Yep.
Not that I feel
Schweikert.
sympathy for the guy, because screw you for screwing my
Nay.
family over.
Yeah.
I
Austin
literally think
Scott.
there's a lot more Democrats when you get to the end. I'm just kind of doing a
Nay.
quick audit here.
David Scott.
Nah, I don't know if that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
I might be
Scott
thinking of the
of
Minnesota
Virginia.
legislature. It seems like
Yay.
there's more R's coming up.
Self. Nay. Sessions. Nay. Sewell. Yay.
Essentially, the magic
Sherman.
number is probably about
Yay.
217, 216,
Sherrill.
somewhere in there now for yeses.
Yeah.
Pelosi's not showing
Yay.
up today.
Simpson. Nay.
Razzle dazzle.
Slotkin.
Exciting show. U.S. House produced. By the way, if you guys are
Yay.
watching this, please hit like right now on Rumble. That tells
Smith of
algorithm.
Missouri.
Let's spread this out. Get more people watching. So please, if you're there, just hit the like. That's all you got to do. Just hit the like.
Nay. Smith of Nebraska.
Yeah, Sparks is
Nay.
any second here.
Smith of New Jersey. Nay. Smith of Washington. Yay. Smucker.
I don't trust sports. I don't think it's
Nay.
going to go that way, but I could be
Yeah.
wrong.
Sorensen.
I don't know. I don't know what
Yay.
she'll do.
Soto. Yay. Spamberger.
And
Okay, here's
Sparks is
Sparks.
Ukrainian.
Here's sports.
Sparks. Nay.
Nope. She didn't do it.
Stansberry. Yay. Stanton. Yay.
Yeah, that's interesting. So,
Stauber.
Victoria Sparks and Warren
Nay.
Davidson voted to bring it on the floor
Steele.
just to vote against it. That's interesting.
But as you alluded to, it could be, I'm sick of this.
No.
I want this thing to actually happen.
Yeah, right. They
Stefanik.
want to get out of the way. So I guess it
Nay.
makes a little bit of sense.
Style. Nay.
Brad says it takes
Stubbe.
some level of courage to vote to oust one of your cigar buddies.
Nay.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if he's removed, will it
Stevens.
be considered bipartisan in the Beltway? Probably
Yay.
not.
Mm-hmm.
Strickland.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and I'm sure they're going to
Yay.
return back to Mills, Corey Mills.
Strong.
So we'll see how he ends up voting on this whole thing too.
Yay. Swalwell. Yay. Sykes.
Boy, it really is. It just makes you feel dirty that you're excited how Swalwell's
Sykes.
going to vote, right?
Yeah, right. I know, it's crazy.
Oh, gosh. That's
Pretty
when
sad.
we
Yay.
evaluate votes in the
Tenney.
legislature. We don't necessarily just say
Nay.
that everyone's a hero
Hanagar.
because they voted a certain way, because
Yay.
Democrats sometimes vote against bills because they don't
Thompson
go
of
full
California.
socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Thompson of Mississippi.
I mean, we're probably
Yay.
20 votes out right now of
Thompson of
deciding this thing.
Pennsylvania. Nay. Tiffany. Nay. Timmons. Nay. Titus. Yay. Talib. Yay. Takuda. Yay. Tonko.
I'm counting 17.
Yay.
There's 17 more
Torres of
Democrats.
California.
16 more Democrats.
Yay.
So it looks like there's 216,
Torres of New York.
216, 217 votes.
Yay.
And I see a question from
Trahan.
T-Wall. T-Wall for Life is
Yay.
asking when the last time a speaker was removed.
Trone.
It's never happened, actually.
Yay.
There's been people who have tried to remove a
Turner.
speaker before, but it's never been
Nay.
successful.
For sure, like never.
That's what I'm reading, yeah. That's
Wow.
that's my
Yay.
understanding of it. So I think that Matt Gaetz might
Valadao.
have led the first time
Yay.
ever in our country for something like this to happen.
Van Drew.
I'll look it up to confirm that that's true.
No. Van
Yep.
Dyne.
Just a quick thing, according to Gov info,
Nay.
the House
Van
Representatives
Orden.
never removed a speaker, but it had on several occasions removed or suspended
Nay.
other officers as clerk and doorkeeper. It's never
Vargas.
happened before.
Wow.
Yay.
You know, when you do a show about this, you would think
Vasquez.
we would have looked that up beforehand. Jeez.
Yep.
Yay.
All right,
Easy.
we're 10 votes away from this thing being a done deal at this point.
Yay.
Barring
Velazquez. Yes. Wagner. Nay.
barring
Wahlberg.
people changing their votes.
Nay.
And you got Wasserman Schultz. Or no,
Waltz.
yeah, you got
Nay.
Wasserman Schultz, Waters,
Yep.
Maxine
Wasserman
Waters.
Schultz. Yay. Waters. Yay. Watson-Coleman.
What is going through Kevin McCarthy's?
Yay.
Why don't we get some
Weber
production here,
Texas.
right,
Yeah.
Dawson? Like, give us a shot of Kevin
Nay.
McCarthy.
I know
right
he
now.
should be reacting
Webster
to all of it.
Florida. Nay. Winstrup. Nay.
You got Wexton, Wild, Williams,
Westerman.
Wilson.
Nay. Wexton. Yay. Wild. Yay. Williams of Georgia.
And you get Williams
Yay.
is yay. So you still
Williams
got Wilson.
of New York. Nay. Williams of Texas. Nay. Wilson of Florida.
The votes aren't there to stop this.
Yay. Wilson of South Carolina.
There's the vote.
Nay. Whitman.
There's only 3 people
Nay.
left. Womack,
Womack.
Yakum, and Zinke.
Nay.
That's your votes, folks.
Yakum.
Yeah, but they're going to go back through the
Yeah.
Nay.
go back through the people that didn't respond the first
Zinke.
time.
Nay. McCarthy. Nay.
Yeah, big surprise there.
Brad's like, do we see where Bobert's at right now? No, you said she's applying pressure in the back.
Yep.
No for no, she says.
Uh-huh.
Marjorie Taylor Greene there on the bottom of your screen. Just keeps getting up. I don't know. She's getting
Yep.
antsy. Her boyfriend is about to be ousted, unfortunately. Poor Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is where the shenanigans happen. We don't know. Live TV, folks. Live TV. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Razzle Dazzle is an exciting show. U.S. House produced. That's right. They provided such great content for us today. There's at least one vote in there that could still add a yes. It's not needed.
Yeah.
House will be in order. The clerk will now call the names of members that have not already been recorded alphabetically.
Can't Pelosi call in? Is that not a thing?
Banks. Nay.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Bush. Bush.
And she's a Democrat. Cori Bush.
Kamek. Nay.
So, yeah, if Cori Bush is also missing, it's one less yes vote.
Carter of Texas. Carter of Texas.
That's a Republican.
Oh, man.
Tony Gonzalez. Nay.
So right now the count is out of 433. No, 430.
Gooden of Texas. Gooden of Texas.
Gooden is a Republican.
Luna.
Hmm.
Luna.
Paulina Luna not voting. That's 3 Republicans to my
Mills.
count.
Nay.
Oh, Mills changed.
Wow.
Doesn't matter.
Pelosi. Pelosi.
What a day to
Peltola.
miss. Could you imagine being a congressperson and missing this vote? This
Peltola.
is so important.
Was that 6 people now that aren't there?
Sykes.
Maybe.
Sykes.
Are there other members in this body who have not been recorded?
Means 2 15s
or
needed. Obviously,
wish to
2 16s
change
already happened.
their vote?
That's it. He's gone.
Yeah, unless someone changes.
Wow. It's actually very quiet.
Yeah.
So that's what it's like. Historic. There's a mask wearer on the Democrat side this time. Has Boebert changed?
Yeah.
It's historic. Wow, it's very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't cut the volume, did you? Wow. Just listen to I mean, it is quiet.
Yeah, they
as
can't
can
believe
be.
it.
Wow. Never happened before in the history of this republic.
So I mean, we're all going to be learning as it goes on.
Yep. This is why we stayed live. Thank you guys for staying with us too. All the Rumble rants and everything.
Yep, that's right, Carla. Bye-bye, Kevin.
Bye-bye, Kevin. I mean, it's the clerk's like, I don't have a sheet for this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
You got the tally? On this vote, the yeas are 216. The nays are 210. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
Wow. Wow.
That's awesome.
When is Congress this quiet, ever?
Yeah. Somebody just say, now what? That's
I mean,
what we're all thinking.
What do you do now? No. Hey, goodbye, says Tucker.
Yep.
I mean, the majority party's still in charge. Do we
Yep,
get that?
don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Love it.
This is awesome.
Okay, well, at least it wasn't a thunderous applause. The financial markets are not going to like this. They'll
Yeah.
rebound.
I'm sure not.
Brad Gaetz, let that be the lesson today. A small group can affect real change.
That's right.
Not a better point made.
Yep. A small majority is better than a big
order.
majority sometimes. It's all about using
Chair
leverage.
lays before the House a communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, sir. This is to notify you that the first name on the letter received by the clerk pursuant to Clause 8B, 3B of Rule 1 is the Honorable Patrick T. McHenry of North Carolina. Signed sincerely, Kevin F. McCumber, Acting Clerk.
Pursuant to Clause 8B3 of Rule 1, I'll now act as Speaker pro tem. The Chair will inform the members of the House the following. The office of the Speaker was rendered vacant pursuant to the adoption of House Resolution 757. Upon a vacancy in the office of Speaker, Clause 8B3 of Rule 1 provides that the next member on a list submitted by the Speaker, pursuant to the rule, acts as Speaker pro tem until the election of a new Speaker, and bestows the authorities of the office of Speaker upon the Speaker pro tem to the extent necessary and appropriate to that end. In the opinion of the Chair, prior to proceeding to the election of a Speaker, it would be prudent to first recess for the relative caucus and conferences to meet and discuss the path forward. Accordingly, pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the chair declares the House in recess subject to the call of the chair.
Oh, give us a time. Oh, he was mad.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen, though. I mean,
rewind that real
the
quick.
call
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
chair.
Well, it's just a-hole.
Yeah.
Oh, did you get your feelings hurt?
Yep.
Numbnuts,
No,
you
I
voted
mean,
for that.
This is awesome.
continuous-
I honestly expected that this thing was going to blow up in some way. I thought that, it wasn't going to be successful. There was going to be something that happened, but Matt Gaetz just pulled off the incredible, the most incredible thing I've ever seen happen in Congress. And, he's done it twice now by first forcing McCarthy to agree to all these concessions. And then when McCarthy doesn't follow through, he kicks him out. I mean, Matt Gaetz is leading this movement. He's just like taking the mantle over of, MAGA in this way. He is the guy in Congress that, outsiders like us just are just craving for, that we're waiting for someone to do this. And finally someone is using the levers of power to help we the people.
That's right. Yeah. I'm very impressed with the guy. I actually was kind of optimistic, and then when we saw that first vote about tabling, and was there 11 Republicans that voted against it?
Right.
So, wow.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, wow.
I know.
Never happened before.
I just can't wait to see what happens
Brad,
next.
I just stole your comment. I know you're not gonna care, but I put on Twitter, Speaker McCarthy is ousted. Let this be a lesson. A small group of patriots can affect real change in politics. It's exactly right.
Yep. That's what Matt Gaetz just showed us. Strategy, and that with a small faction in the majority, you can make this kind of stuff happen. And I think Matt Gaetz is just giving all of us a lesson of what to do in the future.
Yes. Now Republicans will pick a new speaker. Okay.
Yep.
And that person better do the right job for the American people.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we'll be hearing from us. I don't want to cover our Trump stuff for the day. It's going on 3 hours. I got things I got to go do, like go celebrate.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
I've been in politics long enough. You don't see wins like this.
Yeah.
The establishment just always seems to win, and we lose. Well, I guess the election of Donald Trump, right? That was a win for America.
Yeah, that was another big shock to the system.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Matt Gaetz. That's pretty baller.
And yep, T-Wall for life. This is what accountability looks like. That's exactly right. This is accountability right here. If Kevin McCarthy would have kept true to his word, this would have never needed to happen. So, this is so cool. I can't wait to dig in more and, see what goes on after this, because this is uncharted territory.
Razzle dazzle. What time do we put our phones in the microwave tomorrow?
Yeah, right.
Get your bug out bags ready.
Yeah.
Trust me, people are going to make this out to be something bad, and the financial markets went down. Yeah. It's like, listen, it's going to be fine. By the way, the financial markets driven long term.
And it's going to be interesting.
Hold on, let me finish this point.
Yeah.
Financial markets driven long term by productive, prosperous companies, right? And a prosperous economy. This is the best hope we have for that, right there. Getting rid of the guy that's just doing more continuing resolutions and failing us.
Mm-hmm. And, like you were saying, the media and all these other people are going to have to find some way to twist this, because, the Democrats voted for this too. So how is the media going to say that this is a bad thing if the Democrats were along board with it? So just seeing the coverage of everything that's going to go on after this, it's pretty shocking. And I'm surprised that there weren't a faction of Democrats who tried to save McCarthy, because if they did, they probably could have gotten some special deals for it. So
what's going through his head right now?
This is cool.
What's going through his head?
Yeah.
Is there a relief?
Yeah.
I hear like UFC champions will sometimes say when they lose their belt, they're like, oh, the pressure's off. Honestly, the pressure got tough. The guy was under the gun all the time from the get-go.
Yeah.
Not that I feel sorry for the guy. The guy's a complete establishment hack sellout. So, but man alive, what? I'm glad we got to do this live.
Yeah,
Bridget
me too.
didn't get to see the end of it. Hopefully she knows at this point.
Yep.
It looks like William's in the comments, so he knows the crew's here. Dawson doesn't care. He's like, I got video games to play, right?
Oh my gosh, Tekken 8 is coming out soon.
There you go. See,
I'm so pumped.
Doesn't the deep state hate this though? Aren't you guys a little upset about it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, of course. First rule is I'm not in the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's what everyone in the CIA says.
Yep.
Wow. What else? Should we end this thing, or do you
I
have any
think
other
so.
parting
Yeah,
comments?
I think we're good to go. Yeah,
well, let me.
Is enough to rest on people's minds. This is huge.
Yeah. Okay. Let me put a bow on this, because the tone of this thing to start out with was, like we were really screwed, and it's not like this. It's a great move temporarily. we still just passed a continuing resolution, 45 days. We're not fixing the economic issue. There's 3 pillars that need to be stable, in my opinion, for a republic to exist. You got to have a political stability, economic stability, and national security.
Mhm.
We see right now the economic stability is really questioned. That's what this whole thing is about, is economic stability of a republic, right? People are ditching the dollar. Interest rates are going up. Inflation's high. We've taken on too much debt. Okay, that's what this was about. The political climate. That's why we wanted to talk about Trump today. We are literally watching massive interference of our election system to the highest level, the president of the United States. I come out of the woods, out of the mountains, find out Trump now is held liable and the Trump organization needs to dissolve. So now he's on a civil case in New York by just judges, no jury, by the way.
Mhm.
So, and then there's four different indictments with 90-some charges against him. And then last but not least, you see right now Russia's warning about World War III if UK puts troops in Ukraine. So we are losing the 3 pillars: a political stable system, an economic stable system, national security stable system. All that is going away. I've been in politics long enough. I've been through so many election cycles, and I'm like, I kind of know the dynamics that are going to play out the next year. You'll have the October surprises, things you didn't see coming. I have zero idea what's going to happen the next 24 or next 12 months.
Yeah.
It's take your best guess. Is Donald Trump even going to be living? Is Joe Biden going to be alive? Is Joe Biden going to be the presidential candidate on the Democrat side? I would almost say the Vegas odds are against that right now. Is Donald Trump going to be in prison? Is Donald Trump going to still be able to run the Trump organization? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Will we actually have rioting on the streets because the election system is so disregarded in this country that people don't trust anymore? I have zero idea how the next 12 months are going to go. But you tune in Tuesdays and Thursdays. We might be coming back tomorrow sometime for a speaker vote. So we might be a little off schedule here. But I have no idea how this is going to go. Honestly, this is going to be shocking. And so come back here, hopefully on Rumble. But if you're on Facebook watching as well, I think we could be back on YouTube on Thursday. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 o'clock. The Truth Hurts. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of our audience. Appreciate it. We'll see you back here maybe tomorrow, whenever we have to come back live if the speaker vote's happening. We won't be here tonight. So if it happens tonight, we won't be here. I'm assuming they'll wait at least a day. But we'll be back here. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time.